Brother, you got 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Peace, everybody out there. To the debate talk for you audience. Basically, what I wanted to do is I want to table that I haven't been on the show in a while. A lot of people may not understand or know the views that I hold when it comes to the text or when it comes to the Bible. So what I want to do is basically just walk y'all along the lines of where I'm at now, and then I'm going to put the question on the table to my brother Chris. Basically, I started off, for those who haven't, that don't know me or, have been around for a while, basically had the belief when dealing with the scriptures, the basic Christian belief in the sense where, I read the Bible, took the Bible for what it said in the sense, took it literal, and then basically really didn't understand the text or whatever. Took the Hebrew Israelite approach with the scriptures, began to learn the text from more of a Hebraic perspective in a way, learning to read the concordance, look the words up in the Hebrew, look the words up in the Greek and things of that nature. But yet it still, I still had a lot of questions when it came to dealing with the Bible and dealing with the text. I questioned a lot of things from more of a literal, literal perspective, because basically, taking the Bible literal for me really didn't make it clear, in a sense. So basically, I began to study preterism also, full preterist. I became a full preterist, and dealing with full preterists, it kind of cleared up some things for me, but it still left a lot of questions. So full preterist is basically, taking the prophecies of the Bible, and taking away the futurism in a sense, because as a Christian, most Christians hold on to a futurist perspective as far as the return of Jesus and the end of the world and things of that nature. So the full preterists took that off of the table and, basically said everything was fulfilled in 70 A.D. With the second coming of Jesus and things of that nature. So I began to study that, began to kind of teach that in a way. I even came on this platform here and debated Mikael ben Israel on I think it was Revelations, Babylon according to Revelations. So actually I took hold of that and really believed in that for a sense. But again, I still had a lot of questions. So again, I began to study and keep seeking, and began to study the metaphysics, which is the spirituality of the Bible or the spirituality of the text. As I began to study the spirituality of the text, all the things, and I won't say all because there's still things that I don't fully, grasp all the way when it comes to the text. There's things that I fully don't understand when it comes to the text or whatever, but I would say that for the most part, in my spiritual walk, the metaphysics makes more sense, or taking the Bible as allegory or parable makes more sense to me than actually taking the text as a literal book. So here, enough of that. So basically, me and Chris began to chop it up. I understand that Chris is basically Torah based and a Torahite in a sense, and he doesn't deal with basically the New Testament or whatever in a sense, when it comes to Jesus being sacrificed for sin and things of that nature. And I agree with him on that. That's one of our similarities. But the question I want to put on the table for Chris today is, do the Torah or the Old Testament deal with futurism? And if so, do you believe or do you think that this is the reason why Jesus was created? So again, I ask it again: do the Torah, or do you believe the Bible in a sense deals with futurism? And if it do deal with futurism, do you believe this is why Jesus was created? That's my question.
All right, family, once again, you're now listening to Debate Talk for You. This is the Similarities and Differences segment on Debate Talk for You. Special guest is Bleedo and Chris Harris. The number to call in is 319-527-6239. So now we're going to go to Chris Harris, who's going to respond to that question. He has 5 minutes. Let me open up his phone line and go ahead.
Well, he asked a question saying, does the Bible deal with futurism? And if so, does he Do I think that's why Jesus is created? Yes, I do. I believe that prophecies are intact, and I believe that we are living through a prophecy right now that we can also find in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. Now, you don't have the kingdom of Judah on the west coast of Africa, along with Dahomey, Benin, and many other countries such as Cameroon, and its capital is Yehuda, and all those slaves carried off. Now, the reason why Jesus was invented, or the myth of Jesus was invented, if you ask me, we can go to Isaiah 9 and 6, and we all know this prophecy pretty well, where a lot of people like to go for futurist doctrine. And Isaiah 9 and 6, it reads, it tells you, it says, "For us, unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulder, and his name will be Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there will be no end, upon the throne of David and over his kingdom." Now, this is one of the major prophecies that many people run to and say this is talking about Jesus. But unfortunately, it's not. It's actually talking about King Hezekiah, because Isaiah prophesied during the time of King Hezekiah. Many people have taken many prophecies, Jeremiah 23, 5 and 6, Psalms 110, and they all just give them to Jesus. But when you read it in context and when you begin to understand what these things we're talking about, you begin to sit up there and say, as I did, you go like this, wait a minute, this ain't talking about him. You know, Hezekiah's name means the might of Yah. That's what his name means. You understand what I'm saying? So we can go into these prophecies all day, but I heard G-Con one day on here, and he said you got to deal with the text. He likes to say contextual criticism. He throws that around a lot. But the one thing I noticed was none of them apply that practice to themselves, because it says, "For unto us a child is born." So this is not future. This is now. And it says, "And the government will be upon his shoulder." The government was placed upon King Hezekiah's shoulder. He re-implemented the Passover. He put the priests back into the temple. He cleansed the land. He tore down all the high places. You see, we can go into Isaiah 7 and 14, and we could begin to talk about that prophecy as well. You see, when it talks about the children that were born, meaning only a remnant shall return. Because the Assyrians came in there and they smashed on Israel, but they did not smash on Judah. You see? Then the Babylonians came in there and they smashed on Assyria, and the children of Israel were thrown into captivity. But then the king of Persia came in there, which was Cyrus, and he released them from their captivity. And the children of Israel returned home. You see? Only a remnant shall return. That's what one of those children's names represented. So when we read these things, we have to be honest. And we can't overtalk each other. We can't out-talk each other, and we can't talk with each other. Because us as brothers and us as a people have to get this thing right, because we have been taught a lot of things since we've been over here in this diaspora. And I know many groups don't agree. Oh, you're not in a captivity. Slavery didn't happen to you. But it did. And you're affected by it every day, whether you like it or not. So I hope that answers his question. Yes, there are future prophecies in this book that have not been fulfilled, but I hate to say this. Things like Daniel 9, Psalms 110, Isaiah 7 and 14, Isaiah 9 and 6 are some of the ones that are not futuristic prophecies. And Jeremiah 23, 5 and 6. I yield time.
All right, family. Once again, that number to call in is 319-527-6239. So now we're going to begin a dialogue session where they both speak and interact with each other. And after that, we're going to go to the audience out there. If you guys have any questions or comments, the number, once again, 319-527-6239. As a matter of fact, I see a lot of people on the phone lines right now. And if you're already on the phone line, simply press number 1, and that'll let me know that you have a question. We'll bring you in. And we like hearing from the public out there. We like hearing from the people. So, again, if you have any questions or comments, you know that number. Then once you call it, you got to press number 1 and stand by for the public Q&A. But for now, let's get into this dialogue session. It's going to be 15 minutes each. Well, 15 minutes altogether. Let's open up the phone lines. Y'all can begin the dialogue. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, you pretty much answered the question. What I wanted to add to what you were saying, as far as like when me and you have dialogues, and you deal with the content. That's one thing about the way that you deal with the Bible. that, I kind of like the way you deal with it when you read it for what it say, right? So when you went and you read, what was that, Isaiah? That was chapter 9, right?
Right, Isaiah 9 and 6.
Okay, so let's go there real quick. So basically what the Christian church done, or what you would say that the New Testament done in a sense, was took this right here where it says, for unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given. So they basically would take this verse here and then create basically Jesus right here. And then in the New Testament it's written where this child is born, and then they would say that this child is Jesus. That's what you basically say, right?
Correct.
Okay. So that was one of the issues, again, that I had with dealing with the text, because as a preterist, we were taught to deal with audience relevance. And in audience relevance, we were taught that, whoever this text was about, this was the audience it was for. You know what I mean? So I can agree with what you're saying in the sense, even though I may not understand it fully the way that you understand it, but I can agree here that if this is the context of what Isaiah 9 is dealing with, it has Jesus is nowhere in there. So I can see that. I can definitely see what you're saying there. Also with what's that, Isaiah 7:14, that virgin birth?
Correct.
Let's kind of deal with that a little bit.
All right, let's turn there.
Okay. So Isaiah 7:14 here, and then I'll give my breakdown of what I kind of deal with when it comes to the virgin birth. But I want you to, if you can, break that virgin birth down in context of what Isaiah 7 is basically talking about.
You want me to break it down line for line, or you just want me to break it down?
You can just, we got 15 minutes, so I mean, you don't have to be long-winded. You can just, if you want to sum it up.
All right. Well, the way a teacher taught me was, he said you have to read the very first line in the chapter, in chapter 7. He said when you read the very first verse, it clearly tells you that, and it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, that Rezin, the king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, the king of Israel, went up to Jerusalem to make war against it, but could not prevail against it. So what we're seeing right here is the full context of this prophecy that's going to be given. This entire prophecy was given to Ahaz. It was given to Ahaz, and a child would be born. And this child, before it was able to speak, would be a sign upon the children of Israel, the nation, the southern kingdom, that Assyria will not pass through their land. That's all that was about. The child represented a sign for Ahaz. Why would the prophet Isaiah, and you hear this a lot in Christendom, give a prophecy to the people that are there now that aren't even going to be alive by the time this happens? You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
See, we can
makes sense.
Right. And we can also go to chapter 8 because we don't really have a lot of time. But it says, let's watch this. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 8. All right? First thing first, let's read the prophecy. It says, Isaiah 7:14. And as it reads, therefore, the Lord God himself will give you a sign. Behold, the virgin, or Alma, which means young woman, shall conceive and bear a son, and he shall call his name Emmanuel. Curds and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse evil and choose the good. For before the child shall know to refuse evil and choose the good, the land that you dread will be forsaken by both her kings. The Lord will bring the king of Assyria upon you and your people in your father's house. So we see the context. It's talking to them now.
Exactly.
Why am I waiting for a sign to happen some 500 years later? That doesn't make any sense. That's fooling the people. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly. Right, and then that prophecy there. Can you hear me? So that prophecy there wouldn't really be considered a future prophecy in the sense of it was a future prophecy, but it was a fulfillment like within that time period. Is what you're saying?
Correct. We get the fulfillment within that within this time period. Okay. Now we've read. Everybody has read this. We don't have to give a Bible lesson today, but we can give an explanation on this prophecy. And you can go to chapter 8 And it says, let's go to chapter 8. All right? And actually, we got it better than the scribes because we got chapters and verses. Like I said, this is not about Jesus bashing or anything like that. That's not what this is about tonight. All right? This is about building. And it says, chapter 8, moreover, the Lord said to me, take a large scroll and write on it with a man's pen concerning Mahir Shalal Hal Hashabaz, and I will take for myself faithful witnesses to record, Uriah the priest and Zechariah the son of Jebechiah. Then I went to the prophetess, and she conceived and bore a son. Then the Lord said to me, call his name Mahir Shahalah Hashbaz. For before the child shall have knowledge to cry, my father and my mother, the riches of Damascus and the spoil of Samaria will be taken away before the king of Assyria. So it's giving you the fulfillment right there. This is what's going to happen. But we got to understand, when you translate that name, it means only a remnant shall return. Let's continue. Let's go to verse 8. Let's go to verse 7. Now, therefore, behold, the Lord brings up over them the waters of the river, strong and mighty, the king of Assyria in all his glory. He will go up over all the channels and go over all the banks, and he will pass through Judah. He will overflow and pass over. He will reach up to the neck, and the stretching out of his wings will fill the breadth of your land, O Emmanuel. I mean, it's right there. You see right there, because Emmanuel means the Lord is with us. But it's telling you right there, God is with us. This not going to happen in our time. That's what that it's telling you right there. But they translated it, O Emmanuel. You see what I'm saying? But when you look at the bottom of your Bibles where the little cross sign is, it said literally, God is with us. Because his baby was a sign saying things weren't going to come to pass. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Let's continue on.
So,
it says, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, finish. My bad. Go ahead.
All right. It says, be shattered, O you peoples, and be broken in pieces. Give ear, all you from far countries. Gird yourselves, but be broken in pieces. Gird yourselves, but be broken in pieces. Take counsel together, but it will come to nothing. Speak the word, but it will not stand, for God is with us. Now, right there, how come it didn't say Emmanuel? It should have said Emmanuel again, but it didn't. Because so we know it's the same context. It's not going to happen. This is being fulfilled right here as we speak, as we read. Okay, let's continue. Verse 11, the Lord spoke thus with me with a strong hand and instructed me that I should not walk in the way of this people, saying, do not say a conspiracy concerning all that this people call a conspiracy, nor be afraid of their threats, nor be troubled. The Lord of hosts, him shall you hallow. Let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. He will be as a sanctuary, but a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense to both houses of Israel. Hold on, let me get it. And a trap to ensnare the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And many among them shall stumble. They shall fall and be broken, be snared and taken. Bind up the testimony. Seal the law among my disciples. Now, people, we know, they can see, there's a future prophecy talking about the 12 disciples right there. No, it's not. That word right there would be Talmudim. Okay? It'll be Talmudim. And we know we find that word in the story of Moses when he went into the mountains. So I've heard that one before, too. That's not going to fly. Let's continue. And I will wait on the Most High, who hides his face from the house of Jacob. And I will have hope in him. Here am I, the children whom the Lord has given me. We are for signs and wonders in the land of Israel from the Lord of hosts who dwells in Mount Zion. So he's saying those children are right there being born. They represent their signs and wonders. Just that simple. All you had to do was read it.
Okay, check this out. Okay, so now, would you agree with me in the sense that virgin birth there is a different virgin birth than what's in the New Testament? Would you agree with me on that?
Elaborate.
The virgin birth that you just read, was that child conceived through having sexual intercourse, or was that child conceived without sexual intercourse?
Well, when we go into this the New Testament, first of all, me and you ain't stupid. Babies is born by two people getting it on. That's how babies is born, all right? So we ain't got to deal with that. The creator of heaven and earth clearly told us that's what that was for, all right? He clearly tells you through Isaiah the prophet that the children of the Most High are used for signs and wonders. So, yes, that baby being born right here was through sexual intercourse. We ain't got to play We ain't got to play Dungeons and Dragons here with the scriptures.
No.
Okay.
The reason why the reason why I asked that. No, the reason why I asked that is because the Christian belief in the sense is that the virgin birth or this virgin birth story was a miracle, and the woman conceived without having a man, to have the child. That's why I was asking that question. So the context of what you just read in Isaiah and the context of what's written in the book of Matthew or Luke, whichever book it's in, it's two different contexts as far as the virgin conceiving, right? So this goes into why I said, as far as me having questions when I was dealing with the literal text in a sense. So the way you read that Isaiah is like a historical perspective, right?
Correct.
But the way that the Christians read the New Testament in a sense is also a historical perspective. But we do understand that the New Testament is full of allegories. Would you agree with that, even though you don't really deal with the New Testament?
No, I used to read the New Testament. You know that.
Yeah.
Okay, if we're gonna call out, let's go into the New Testament and deal. When you read the Book of Remembrance, all right, or the Old, as they some people call it the Old Testament. All right, let's go find the allegory, what you would call an allegory in the New Testament.
Well, yeah. I wanted to just stay right there real quick with the virgin birth is what I really wanted to kind of say with, because that's an allegory. That's something that has a meaning to it that a lot of people that study the text, they have never really went into the deeper meanings of the text. So the virgin birth, you know what I'm saying, from the way I study it and the way I see it, is dealing with the spirit of Christ or the mind of Christ being born in the flesh. And that flesh, that spirit or that mind is being born in has to be pure. So that flesh has to be a virgin, or that mind has to be reborn. This is where we get the term in the New Testament of being born again, because the average mind has the religious concept in the sense of how they view things. So they can't have this mindset or this Christ mind raise up in them, not being born again. You know what I mean?
Well,
so I just wanted to read this real quick. Okay, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 2. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14. It says, "But the natural man receives not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned." So a natural man, like we are natural in a sense. So when we're talking about having children, we know naturally how children are created, right?
Right.
But when we dealing with Christ or when we dealing with Jesus, we know that that's not a natural thing, because that's something that doesn't happen. That has to be something that has to have a spiritual meaning to it, right?
Right.
Or it has to have some type of meaning to it, whether you agree with it or not. It has to have some type of meaning to it, right? So verse 15 says, "But he that is spiritual judge all things, yet he himself is judge of no man. For who have known the mind of the Lord, that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of Christ." So one who is a spiritual teacher of the text should be able to break down the allegory of the virgin birth and show the people that the mind of Christ, which this is showing you clearly here that Christ is a mindset. It's saying that we have the mind of Christ. So the virgin birth again has to be a mindset, not something that literally took place, because we understand that a male and a female have to come together to have a child.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So therefore, when we deal with the birth of Jesus, we know that Isaiah is not dealing with Jesus at all, because in context you just read what it was about, and we know how natural people have children. Right. So in the New Testament, we have a spiritual story of just Jesus being created, but we know that this spiritual story is not something that was literal, because there's no woman that gets pregnant without a man.
Well, according to this Bible, a woman got pregnant without a man. According to this New Testament, a woman got pregnant without a man. And I'm going to read it to you right here. This is how it reads. And
right, fellas, 15 minutes is up. We got to go to the people out there. We got to go to the public Q&A. That's right, family. I could call in with y'all questions right about now. If you're already on the phone line, simply press number 1, and we'll add you in the conversation. If you're calling in via Skype, you can press 1 on your Skype, on Skype, and that lets me know that you have a question as well. So we're going to go to the phone lines for 15 minutes, and after that, we're going to go back to the regular rounds. So let's go to the family out there. Let's see what kind of questions is out there. Let's go to 718-378. You're live on air. 718-378. Can you hear me?
Shalom. Sorry, I was on mute. Shalom, everyone. All praises to the Most High. I just pressed the number 1 to listen in. I keep forgetting that I only press it when I want to speak. I don't want to speak on this conversation. I just wanted to press it. I thought I was allowing myself to get in. Zehu.
Oh, okay. No problem. I appreciate you. Appreciate you listening in. Shalom to you as well. Much love to you. No doubt. Family, once again, the number to call in is 319-527-6239. This is your chance to ask your questions, your comments. Right about now, I see a lot of people on the phone lines listening to the show. But again, if you have any questions, you have to press number 1. And once you press number 1, that'll, we'll bring you in a conversation. And we'll ask you to make this last for 15 minutes for the family out there. Nobody's pressing number 1 at this time, family. So we're going to have to go back to the rounds. So, Chris, 5 minutes, brother, to bring a question to the table and elaborate. Go ahead.
All right, and this is pretty much for anyone that wants to answer this question. And you guys got to excuse me if I don't have a lot of energy today because I'm studying up here for this debate here. But I want to go to 1 John chapter 5, verse 7. Okay. 1 John chapter 5, verse 7, because I want to continue on with me and Bleedo was speaking about. And 1 John chapter 5, verse 7. And it clearly says, this is he who came by water and blood, Jesus Christ, not by only water, but by water and blood. And it is the Spirit who bears witness, because the Spirit is truth. I can agree the Spirit is true. For there are 3 that bear witness in heaven, the Father, the Word, and the Holy Spirit. And these 3 are one. But we got a contradiction now, because when we go into the in the Gospels, it said that the Holy Spirit impregnated Mary. So did Jesus get his own mother pregnant or not? And these are the many things that actually make me I just don't like reading the book. I don't like dealing with the book because we have such stories like Dionysus, Mithra. We have Zeus, as mentioned in the book of Acts. Zeus had a human mother. You understand what I'm saying? Acts chapter 14, 9 through 13. It talks about that temple being there. We have many of these things going on within the scriptures. Now, the one thing I do agree with the New Testament is there were Nazarene rabbis that came into Jerusalem out of the wilderness. And you can read about that in the book of John. So what I would like to ask Bleedo is, do I need Paul's doctrine? Because I hear many of our brothers and sisters, what they do is they always are quoting Paul. I don't know who Paul is, because according to the law, our prophets had a lineage. Isaiah, son of Amos, Jeremiah, son of, Haggai, son of. They all had a lineage because the Creator is proud of his lineage, albeit he does get upset with them. These are the reasons why I put the New Testament down. There's another thing I would like Bleedo to answer. If Jesus is the son of David, the Most High clearly tells you in the promise he made to David that I will not forsake your sons. He said, I will always have mercy on your sons. Jesus was forsaken. So, therefore, he can't be a son of David, as told to us in Psalms 89, the 89th chapter. I mean, the Most High does not break his covenant with his people. It's his people that break his covenant with them. I would like your opinion on that. I would like to know, should I study Paul's letters more and get a different understanding of where people are coming from? And I would also like to ask you. What is it you don't like about the scriptures? And I would like for you to elaborate on that, because I know a lot of times you sit back and say, well, it's all allegorical. It's all allegorical. Because something had to push you away from it. And you know what I tell you all the time on the phone when me and you be talking. I ain't going to bring that up. But something had to push you away from it. So with that, I want to yield my time, and I want to hear my brother Bleedo kick it.
All right. Once again, family, that number to call in is 319-527-6239. Let's go to Bleedo. I was going to answer Chris' question. He has 5 minutes. Bleedo.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, cool. You asked a lot of questions. So, I'm going to try to see if I can remember them all. But I want to look at that way you read in 1 John 5 and 7 and give you a breakdown of how the metaphysics, or how we view the Trinity in a sense, because I know that verse is deal with the Trinity. So notice here it says, for there are three that bear record in heaven, the Father, the Word, and the Holy Ghost, and these three are one. Okay? So when we deal with the metaphysics, or when we study, we deal with the spirituality of the text. So the Trinity, in a sense, we look at it as mind, idea, and expression, or we look at it as thinker, thought, and action. So I'll give you an example of the Trinity in work or in action in actually the Bible. When you deal with the creation, you have, in the beginning, God said, right? So you have the mind, because you have to have a mindset in order to see or visualize something, right? Then it said God said, so he spoke it. That's the idea. And then the expression is similar to the manifestation, meaning it comes into being, which is why it's thinker, thought, and then action. So the Creator said, let there be light, and there was light, and he saw that the light was good. So right there is an expression of the Trinity, because you see the mind, the idea, and expression in all those three manifest. I think the other question you asked me, if I can remember, is what is the problem that I have with the scriptures? I don't have a problem with the scriptures. What it is I think it's First Timothy or 2 Timothy, where it says all scripture are given for inspiration of God. The problem that I have is with the people, in the sense, or the teachers, those who are teaching the scripture. They're not teaching it as an inspiration of God. They're more or less teach the scriptures as a dictatorship or a book to lord over the people. They control the people with the book, and therefore making the book become an idol, because the book becomes God to them. Everything, when it comes to dealing with the spirit of love or whatever it may be, they have to have this book in order to explain the creation or the creator, or however you may look at it. So that in a sense is the issue that I kind of have with the scriptures. And then I don't remember the other question. I know it was about David or something along the lines of. I don't remember the other question. So what I do with the rest of the little time that I got is we were touching on that the virgin birth a little bit, so I didn't really get a chance to finish up on that. But I wanted to show the people what about this Christ, okay, about this, because again, Jesus is a representation. It's like if I tell a story, allegory, you have characters, personalities, places. All these things are used in the allegory. For example, we all grew up and we heard the story of the three little pigs. We know that pigs don't talk, don't build houses or none of that, and we know that wolves can't blow down houses or whatever. But there was a story, and in that story, a pig was used, and in that story, a wolf was used, and it was giving you a meaning or a moral meaning to a story. So when we deal with the Bible, when we deal with the text, when we deal with Jesus, in a sense, Jesus is representation of the self. And that spirit, which is the creator that was in that body, is what led Jesus into, doing the things that he did. If you think about it, Christianity, they paint Jesus as a freak of nature. They tell us he was born of a literal virgin. It literally happened. He had literal miracles, which we can't do. Also, Jesus is supposedly knew he was going to die and raise back up in 3 days. None of us know any of that. So they have us following a Superman, in a sense. You know what I mean? But when you understand the spirit and understand the text and understand the spirituality of the text, then you can look into what Jesus did and see that you can do those same things, and that those same things are dealing with you, with the self, and dealing with you. So I yield the rest of that time.
All right, you listen to the segment called Similarities and Differences right here on Debate Talk for You. I'll be show via social media, via phone and Skype. We appreciate the family out there. So now let's get this 15-minute dialogue going. 15-minute dialogue. Go ahead.
All right, Bleedo. So what I was really trying to get at with you was you answered all my questions because I know you can't answer all of them. But one thing you said that what people do is they grab the book and they lord over you with it. Now, I know you remember me sitting up there telling old boy that day we was in that hangout. And I said, man, y'all just take the book, start reading off this law to people and trying to lord over people with it all day long, scaring people into serving God, which you're not supposed to be doing in the first place. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's what we was talking about that day. And what that ends up doing is when you got guys that sit up there and say, oh, you got to keep the law, you got to keep the law. I agree, you have to keep the law, but when you force it on somebody, that's going to push people away from it. You see what I'm saying? See, when
right.
at the time of the teacher of righteousness, that's what you could read about this gentleman in the Dead Sea Scrolls, right? And what he used to do was he would teach in parables, right? He officiated at a dinner that sold bread and wine, and what I believe is they mixed a lot of Greek mythology into the Dead Sea Scrolls and gave us what we call the gospel according to Mark, according to John, according to Luke. When Luke tell you yourself, you see what I'm saying? Because some people don't know my stance.
Right.
Luke tell you himself. He was not there. He said the story sounded good to him. So here it is. People will read to me the book of Luke, and I say, well, you know what? According to the law, first of all, I'm only allowed to read the law and the prophets. That's what it tells us to do. You read the law and the testimony, that's Isaiah 8:20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, there's no light in them. If Luke wasn't there, why are y'all reading that? You get what I'm saying? It tells you he's not even a credible witness. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Hey, I want to touch on this a little bit too with what you said as far as like lording over people. Like when we look at for example, when we look at let's just say we deal with the Sabbath day, because I know that's one of the main ones that a lot of Christians have issues with. A lot of really the main fight between the Israelites and Christians in the sense be that Sabbath day, right?
Right.
But what I learned is that the numbers is also symbols in the text, and that numbers have meaning, right? So, for example, the number 7, not to go into numerology and all that type of stuff, because I ain't really trying to do all that, but when you look at the number 7 in a sense, it has a meaning for like rest or perfection in a sense, right?
Right.
So let's say you work a job, and let's say you work Monday through Friday, right? And you got the weekend off. And let's say I work Saturday through Thursday and I'm off Friday, or Saturday through Wednesday and I'm off Thursday, Friday, right? The Sabbath day was given for rest. That's the purpose of the Sabbath day. Would you agree? So the problem comes in is when you have brothers teaching the law, or when you have certain people trying to teach Torah, they tell you, well, if you work on Saturday, for example, then you're breaking the law. Then you have some people that teach the new moon and say, well, it's floating Sabbath. You get what I'm saying? So now all of a sudden we following the instructions of men and not really digging and diving into the text to find out are these things, or do these things have a literal and spiritual meaning to them, and what is so. So therefore we start following men. So that's one of the bigger issues that I have, because people can mess up their lives.
Let me add to that real quick. Let me add to that.
Okay.
Another thing, but you got to look at it with a 360-degree perspective, Bleedo, because the same people that tell you that they don't want to honor the Sabbath, but they'll run up in church on Sunday and then come on this show, and they know who they are, and they'll sit up there and curse you for obeying the law, running into Paul's letters, not knowing what they read. You get what I'm saying? So my thing is this: if you got to work on Saturday and you know you have to be at work on Saturday, and somebody telling you, all you got to do is say, hey, look, does the Most High's mercy run deep? Yes or no? Is he a forgiving Elohim? Yes, he is. So therefore, I'm pretty sure he understands that you have a job that you have to work on Saturdays with. And let somebody I know ever try and come at me with that, oh, see, I heard Zadok tell me that one time on during our conversation, our debate, he got to get ready. He should be getting ready for the Sabbath. Like, mind your business, bro. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So you do have people that do exactly what me and you talking about.
Yeah, and that's one of the issues in the community, in the Israelite community that I think need to be cleaned up. You know what I mean? People need to really focus on, okay, this law right here is about resting and spending time with the Creator, but everybody is not. Like, if we was governed in the same land, that's different. But everybody not governed in the same land, so therefore and I done seen this, and this is like I done actually seen a person leave a job and because of they work Saturday and mess themselves up because of that. You know what I'm saying? So now because this individual followed what a man told him to do, it messed his whole life up in a sense. You know what I mean? And their answer was, well, God chastised people he loves. That ain't chastisement.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Well, so when you deal with the law, I don't really, like I say, with me per se, in the way that I view the scriptures as far as it being metaphysics, allegory, whatever, I can still see a literal sense to the law when we deal with the world that we live in today. I still can see it. I can see that if you kill somebody, you go to prison for murder. If you steal from somebody, basically all the way down the line of when you deal with the Ten Commandments in a sense. Now, when you deal with the dietary laws and all that, that's a whole nother, you know what I mean? Like, that's a whole nother story. But I don't want to open up that can, so we'll leave that can closed. But for the most part, everything is governed off of law. Everything in the universe is governed off of law. So the laws of God are eternal, and anybody that speaks against that don't know what they talk about.
Okay. I agree. I'm waiting for you. You know what I'm waiting on you to do? I'm waiting on you to bring out your Christ consciousness or anointed consciousness concept. I'm waiting for you to bring that forth tonight.
Well, yeah.
That's what I want you to get to. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, see what we can do that too. We can do that too. Okay. Okay, let's go back to.
Well, let me say this. Let me ask this real quick. Let's stay on this. Let's stay right here real quick. Do you see a problem with people honoring the Sabbath?
No.
Okay, do you see a problem with people being obedient to the law?
No.
Can you name one law in this book that you can't keep?
Yes.
Name one.
That you can't keep?
Correct.
Hold on. I was just looking at one today. Hold on. Let me see. I know it's in the book of Exodus. One that talks about if you have a servant and the servant want to deal with his wife or he want to stay with his wife or something on them lines, then you have to put an ohm in his ear. You have to put an ohm in his ear and then you allow him to stay. We definitely can't keep that law.
Okay, now can I ask a question on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, find it first. If you got time,
I think it's Exodus 21. Thou by a Hebrew servant 6 years he shall serve thee, and in the seventh he shall go out free for nothing. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her masters, and he shall go out by himself. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, then this master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an owl, however you say that word, AUL, and he shall serve him forever. So that's something that
we can't do today, right? I agree. I agree with you. Now, I'm going to ask anybody a question pertaining to that. Right? Am I a sinner if I don't do that?
No, because you can't do something that
because
you can't
I don't have
do.
servants, right? Right. Exactly. So it's essentially I'm not bound to it because I don't have any servants, right? Because when you read that law, that's a lot of culture. You understand what I'm saying? There's a lot of there's still some tribes in Africa that do those type of things over there. You understand what I'm saying? That's another story for another time. All right, just like dowry and casting lots, you still see that with the Ashanti. They still do that. They still practice these customs. The gentleman at work was explaining a lot of things to me about some of the customs that he read about in the scriptures that they do. All right? So what I'm trying to say, am I seen as a sinner because I don't put an awl in somebody's ear? Am I seen as one? No. You understand what I'm saying? But according to their cultural traditions, the Israelites' cultural traditions, that was legal. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just like the sacrificial laws. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to answer that. So basically, some of these laws that you read in the text, it deals with laws of the land in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be the law of the land right there. So those laws that was governed by that land, you're not in that land, so you're not governed by that law.
Correct. You're governed by the law all the time, but there were practices and laws you had judiciary, you had agricultural laws, you had judgment laws, you had many different sets of laws, okay? Now, there are laws that pertain to you every single day. Let's get into the sacrificial law. Many Christians of the Christian faith, Mormonism or whatever it is, many other faiths, they say, well, you can't sacrifice. You can't sacrifice. Well, you know what? The Creator clearly tells us that Leviticus 26 tells us how to be repentant of our sins. He clearly tells you in the book of Jeremiah, through the prophet Jeremiah, that he never spoke to us concerning sacrifice. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So therefore, we're only allowed to sacrifice where you place your name, where he's placed his name. Excuse me. You're only allowed to sacrifice in the land where he placed his name. You get what I'm saying? Well, people like to sit up and just say, oh, well, what about the first 7 chapters of they weren't in Jerusalem then, they were in the wilderness. They were amongst the tabernacle. These are things that they're just not reading. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to get into many of these things, but the tabernacle was amongst them in the wilderness. His name was in the wilderness with them at the time. So the fact that you're not sacrificing means you're being obedient to the law of God. So you're getting a freebie right there. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But he wanted you to sacrifice your heart to him anyway. That's all he ever wanted from the get-go. That's why he told Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, walk before me and be blameless. That's what they did. Israel was supposed to do the same thing, and they didn't. They used sin as a cover. They used sin sacrifice as a cover for their sin. That's not what he wanted. That's not what the sin sacrifice was supposed to be for. You get what I'm saying?
Right. I do got a question for you. I think I'm gonna get another round. So because I want to deal with that futurist stuff a little bit more too, and then maybe I can go into the Christ concept as far as bringing that out a little bit more. But I don't know how much time we got left. I don't think I heard the 2-minute bell yet. I think we still got a little bit of time. But what I wanted to bring out too is with the Christ concept, in a sense, we were dealing with the virgin birth, and we kind of didn't get a chance to finish that, right? So what I want to show people is this, that God is a spirit, and the New Testament say God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and truth. So when we deal with this virgin birth, a lot of and this is what I learned too. A lot of people are afraid of themselves. All right, stay with 2 minutes. Okay. A lot of people are afraid of themselves, man. You think about our life that we live in, bro. For the most time, we try to be entertained. How many people can sit down and meditate or sit down with themselves? We always trying to go outside of ourselves. And this is why the New Testament, in a sense, or the New Covenant, or whatever people want to renew covenant, whatever you want to call it, tells us that the laws is within us, the kingdom is within us, and Christ is within us. It's telling us all 3 of these things is within us, and if we go inside of ourselves, this is where we can free ourselves from the ways of the world. Okay, so what I was saying about that virgin birth is that you have to have a pure mind. You have to be cleansed, in a sense, baptized. The flood, when you deal with the flood, in a sense, you have to be cleansed with the water in order to have this consciousness raised up in you, right? So Paul wrote it like this, and I know you don't deal with Paul, but he says, "My little children, of whom I travail in birth again until Christ be formed in you." So here we have a conversation to the Galatians. I know you say read chapter verse 1 and go all the way down to get the context. But what I want to point out is that we see here that Paul is saying that he travailed in birth again, which Paul is a man, so we know men don't have births or whatever, right? But he says, until Christ be formed in you. So this is letting us know that this Christ has to be formed in us. This mindset has to be formed in us. This is the thing that the modern Christian church doesn't teach us, is that we have this ability to do the same things that we read in the story of Jesus. We have the same ability to do the same things. Like, look at this. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 2. It says, for I am jealous over you with godly jealousy, for I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Christ.
All right, family, so we're about to go to the phone lines once again. And again, for this particular segment, the public Q&A is only 15 minutes. And we're going to go round by round by round. And we're going to hear more from the people out there. So let's get this clock started. Once again, if you have any questions or comments, you're listening on social media, you're listening on Blog Talk Radio, that number is 319-527-6239. Once you call in, you got to press number 1. And we'll add to the conversation, or you can send me an email at debatetalkforyou@gmail.com. That's debatetalk, the number 4, and letter U @gmail.com, and I'll gladly read out your questions. Or if you're a friend of mine on social media, just put it in the comment board or in my inbox, and I'll read your questions. But let's go to the people out there. Again, it's 15 minutes for this particular segment, and then we're going to go back into the next round. Let's go to 530-434. You're live on air.
Greetings, brothers. This is Brother B.A. out of Sacramento, California. Much love to the panel. Much love, Sal. What's up? What's the word?
Peace, brother.
Peace.
Greetings. I know Bleedo. I don't know you. But I know a while back you had a similar conversation like this with an individual from the Apologist set. And one thing I noticed about that one, and I could be wrong, because you experienced it, but I could be wrong. Don't you see a big difference from that one and this one? How from that one it was a tad bit contentious in a sense, and right here you brothers, even though you may have your differences, you two brothers are willing to talk them out and understand what's being said between the two. Am I right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's a big difference.
That's the point of the conversation. That's what we're trying to show. Show everybody that we can come together in peace. You know what I'm saying? It ain't always ain't nothing wrong with a good, strong debate, but sometimes, it do, when you're seeking contention and not counsel, it can lead, to a uneasy spirit. You know what I'm saying? You be all like, man, that ain't why I opened up this word. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a big difference. Me and Chris, we actually build a lot of times, not recording and things like that. We actually build a lot of times and having conversations. That other brother that I debated, I don't really want. I had a dialogue with. I don't want to say people's name or whatever, but he seemed like he had a motive in asking for that conversation. And what I learned over the few little weeks or months or whatever it was that I talked to him, it seems like that brother was trying to build up a name for himself. And he was doing it, basically by trying to take dialogues and debates and conversations and things of that nature. So this is definitely something different, though. Yeah, to answer your question.
Yeah, most definitely. That's what happens when you're always looking for a fight. When you're always engaging with individuals who want to fight all the time, I tend to notice that the individuals who are always engaging with the fighters, they tend to have that same spirit, because that's all you do is continue to surround yourself around people that want to fight. So, and I don't sense that from you, Bleedo. I don't sense that from you. So that's why when that conversation you have with that certain individual, it didn't really go well like this one, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that it was bad on your part. I was just saying overall, it just seemed like it was a little contention there. But I appreciate you building the dialogue. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, brother. I didn't hear you. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I agree with you. I listened to it back myself, and I didn't really like it myself. I was like, it could have went a lot better than as far as information and things of that nature. it could have came out a lot better. So, I definitely understand where you coming from. But, I would like to say this too, and when me and Chris, continue to build. One thing that, I've been around for a while, man, and what I learned is that no matter what a person believes, you won't be able to change their belief. It's up to them to change what they believe. You know what I mean? Even with myself, when I had a certain belief, it didn't matter what you could have came to my house and showed me right in my face. But if I had this belief, it would take time for me to see that, and that's what when you deal with the New Testament, in a sense, that's when you deal with the soul of the word. That word gets sold, and then it takes that time. For that for that seed or the soul of the seed, or the parable. But it takes time. It's just something that don't take place. So you can sit there and yell and scream at people all day and try to get them to see it, but if it's not meant for them to see it, they will not see it.
Yeah, most definitely, I do agree, and I'm this is my last point, and I'm gonna fall back. I know me and brother Harris, and we talked a few days ago, and we trying to build something up, man. So if you can, Bleedo. Maybe Sal can probably give you my information, because me and Brother Chris and a few other brothers really trying to put something positive out there when it comes to black men, because we're all getting to a point to where we all the same people, but for some reason there's a negative stigma about us, and then you got sisters doing a platform, and they're coming with some beautiful, powerful buildings. So we will do the same thing. So, but I'm gonna fall back, and much love to both of you brothers, and shalom.
Okay, cool. Peace with you, and I definitely get out with that.
Yeah, what I'll do, I'll share the information with you, Brother Bleedo, as far as Brother BA. I'll share that with you.
Okay.
But let's go to the next caller. Let's go to 214-605. You're live in there.
What's going on? Shalom, Lekulam. That's peace to everyone. And Bleedo, you know me, Ordeg Dean from Facebook. Joe, we had a conversation a while back about the New Testament, and I was giving a brother some heat. You told me stop bullying him on the Facebook.
I can't remember, man. But go ahead. I'm trying to think. You say what you say your name was?
On Facebook, it was Joe Blow at first.
Oh yeah, okay. Joe Blow.
A while ago. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
but,
I remember you. You from Chicago, right? And then you moved or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I'm coming out of Texas and everything. Yeah. So my question really was for you, because I know we had a conversation and we was talking about this, and my whole thing was how I felt like, the New Testament was not unifying us. There's a lot of separation in it, and this, that, and the other. So my thing was going back to your last statement that you said, because I didn't catch the whole show, was that the New Testament brings you Christ consciousness as far as telling us to go back within ourselves, correct? Something along those lines. And basically that we can find this is what the New Testament guides you to. So that's like the premise of your belief, correct?
Yeah, the New Testament, and even so, I do feel like the Old Testament as well. It deals with us as a whole. You know what I mean, as mankind, and it uses characters and things of that nature to break down spiritual things. So the New Testament is a little bit easier when it comes to explaining the allegory than the Old Testament is. You know what I mean? But that's basically the premise of how I view the entire Bible in a sense.
So this is where my question comes in. All right. Say, without the New Testament, do you feel it's possible that someone can find the same things in the old? Or do you feel like the new is needed?
That's a good question. I think, I believe, basically culturally. So let's say, for example, I believe that this is something, this God within you is not something that's new. You know what I mean? So I do believe that even in the Old Testament, like if you look at certain scriptures that I didn't bring out, but if you look at like Proverbs 25, it says that a king, God. Let me go to that scripture for you real quick. 25:2, it says, "It's the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter." So with that being said, like you can just have the Old Testament without the New Testament and get the understanding of spirituality. But I just think the New Testament is a little bit more plainer, for lack of better words.
Okay, and just one more question, because like I say, we chopped it up, but we never really got a chance to chop it up again. So
yeah, I'm gonna hit you, man. I mean, or you can hit my number. You know what I'm saying? But you got the button, but we can definitely continue to build.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I mean, and you know my belief system as far as how that goes. So
right,
more so, you're saying it is in the Old Testament, and I don't know if you feel like Christ was an actual person or not. So I guess the question would be, say for the people that feel he's an actual person and feel that he does or he's needed in these aspects, in your opinion, okay, of course, in your opinion, do you feel like that those people just missed the mark of what the totality of what the word is? Because I'm just going to give you an example, because all through the Old, it talks about righteous judgment and following the laws, and everybody that knows about the laws, they know that there's morality in it. And it's how to treat yourself, how to treat your neighbor, all these good things. Nothing was new. But for the people that feel like I need this person, would you feel like that's a misguided thought process?
Yes.
That's where I'm.
Yeah,
Okay.
Definitely. Because if you look at, I mean, and again, that's kind of going into Paul writing in a sense, right? Because Paul kind of say those type of things, but when you actually look at the words of Christ or the words of Jesus in the sense in the story, he doesn't say things like that. You know what I mean? He say greater, you do greater things than I. That's what he told the disciples. So we understand that we do greater things than he do, or you know what I'm saying, we do greater things than he did. You know what I mean? Then that way we're not trying to follow him, and we understand that spirit that was in him is in us. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Let me give you an example of like what the verse would say. So this Matthew 6:22 through 23. It says, "The light of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye be single, your whole body shall be full of light. But if your eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore that light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness?" Right? So with that being said, that light, we understand that light is Christ, is God, or, you know, however you view it. And if that light is in you, then your whole body or your whole mindset is full of light. The way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the way you act, these things are a representation of God, because that's what it means to be a son of God, is to be an express image of the Creator. You're supposed to walk and do the things of the Creator. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the example that I feel like, you know, when even though I don't believe in a literal Jesus in a sense, that's the example of that story that I get.
Okay. And that's all I had. I told off for having me and taking my questions. And we'll chop it up more, you know. When I seen, I actually seen the post kind of late.
If you can inbox me, I had a little different spin on my page, so send me a friend request, and cause I ain't got probably 80 people on my page now, but just send me a friend request, and then I'm gonna send you my number.
But I got you on the page. I don't know if it's a different page, a new page.
I got probably about if you do, just send me a message. If not, if you still got my number, just text me yours, and then I'll hit you up, and we can chop it up.
All right, for sure.
Okay.
All right, y'all take it easy. Yeah.
All right, let me look at the clock. Hold on 1 second. And once again, you know that number, family, 319-527-6239. We're already at the 12-minute mark, so, man, you know what? If I let somebody else in, it's going to have to be a real quick question. But, you know what we'll do? We'll just bypass that because, it's only 2-3 more minutes left. So let's bypass that. We're going to come back to the public Q&A, and I want to give everybody, a good time to ask their questions like I did just now. So let's go back to Bleedo, and let's give him 5 minutes once again. Bleedo, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna play this a little safe, with these 5 minutes. The mood is so good right now. I don't want to, throw a monkey wrench in it. So what I want to do is I've debated this topic a few times on Debate Talk for You. So Chris, what I want to do is I want to put a premise on when the day begins. That's what I want to put out there. I want to see what your understanding is. Well, I kind of know in a sense, but I want to see what your understanding is with when the day begins. So what I want to do is I want to basically go into Genesis, and I'm gonna read verse 14. I will start at verse 1. You can if you want to, verse 5, whatever you can if you want to, but I want to deal with something that we can physically see. Okay, and it says, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. So the reason I read that was because a lot of times people take this in the evening and the morning to mean in the evening and the evening was one day. But what I want to ask you is, actually I'm going to put my premise out there, and then I know we're going to basically chop it up about it. But what I want to do is I want to say the evening and the morning are the in-between periods of the day and the night, okay? So what you have here is you have a day, which is daylight, which is light. Then you have the evening time, which is in between the day. And then you have the night, okay, which is darkness. And then you have a morning, which is the beginning of the next day, which is going into the next day of light. Okay, so then after the morning, you have the day, which is light again. So my question to you is, what is your view on when the day starts, as far as the scriptures? And if you hold the view that I hold, or if you don't hold the view that I hold, what makes one person or what makes another person believes that a day starts in the evening time, if that's what you believe? And you the rest of my time.
All right, let's go to Chris. He has 5 minutes. Chris, you can go ahead.
Okay, this is just real simple. Here we go again with simple biblical teachings and people trying to, you have these leaders that are in these camps that only surface read the scriptures. And, I'm going to be dealing with this on Friday. You have people that surface read the scriptures. Hey, Sal, can you unmute Bleedo for a second? Is that okay? Could you do that?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, now Bleedo, it says right here, it says right here in verse, let's go to Genesis 1:29, and it says, and God said, see, I've given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed. To you it shall be for food. So he said that the seed of the trees were for food, right?
Okay.
Okay, right. It's not a trick question. You get what I'm saying? It's not a trick question. Okay, this is creation. We're opening up with creation here. This is not a trick question. Let's continue. Okay. Also, to every beast of the earth, to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth, in which there is life, I have given every green herb for food, and it was so. Here we go, verse 31. Then God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. So the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Now, people would see that word evening and say, see, the evening is daytime. No, that's not so. Because when we don't read in context, this is why we get in trouble. Remember, brothers and sisters that are listening to the show tonight, there were no chapters and verses, okay, when these things were written. So let's go right down. Chapter 2. It says, thus the heavens and the earth and all the hosts of them were finished. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had done. I don't get it. The 7, hey, Bleedo, don't 7 mean completion?
Yep, that's what it means.
Okay, so on the 7th day, he rested. So on the Sabbath day is a day of rest. So therefore, the 7th day is the Sabbath day of rest. Not the Sabbath evening of rest, the Sabbath day of rest. Okay, I'll give them credit. I'll sit up there and let's go with the evening. Let's go with the evening motif, right? Okay, so if the day begin during the evening, when do the night begin? Or when do the evening begin? You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's Babel. That's Babylon. That's confusion, man. But see, that's what people, when people read these things, what they do is they see something like, so the evening and the day were the sixth day, right? What they want to do is they want to sound deep. They want to sound deep. You know what I'm saying? And what they do is they say, see right here, it says the evening and the morning were the sixth day. No, because the creator of heaven and earth gives you a clear understanding of that. As a matter of fact, the evening can represent the day of preparation also. But that's neither here nor there, because we know the Sabbath day begins the day the creator rested. And that was during the day. He did no work on that day. And he hallowed it. So, you know how our people are. They'll speak great words against the Most High because they're right and the whole book is wrong. That's just what they do.
All right, so let's begin the 15-minute dialogue, and after that, we're going to go back to the public, family. We're going to go back to the public Q&A again. So that's going to be for 15 minutes as well. But let's start the dialogue. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So what you just read, we agree. Why do you think you think that people just do that or believe that way because of the teachers teaching it the wrong way?
Correct.
That's what you said.
Yeah, I believe that because of the teachings of man and not the teachings of the scriptures. And sometimes we just get it wrong because we've been removed from our culture for so long. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
What's that question you asked that gentleman that day on the phone? You were talking about the new moon.
I don't remember.
Do you remember that one?
You know how much
you was just all like, he kept saying the day started
the
that
moon,
night.
The new moon. Yeah, because what it was that, that brother was saying that, the evening time is when the new day begins. So,
right.
He was talking about the new moon. Remember you saying the new moon is when the day begins. So I'm like, which one is it? Is it the evening time when the day starts, or is it, when you get a sight of the full moon is when the day starts? And the thing what it is that the new moon ushered in or brings in a new month according to the text. But the day starts when the sun rises. So the first day of the month or the new month is still the first day of the new month, not like you just said, not the first evening and things of that nature. So, like, I think the confusion come out. I just want to read this. Hold on, let me read this real quick. Verse. No, that's not it. First Peter. First Peter 2:9. It says, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that you should show forth the praises of him who have called you out of darkness until his marvelous light. Right? So when you look at the creation story, we see that darkness was there. That's the thing that they always that's what they hold on to when they have the argument. They say, see, darkness was first or whatever, right? So we understand that when you deal with the creation, that the earth was without form and it was voided. Right? So that darkness.
Now, you know I teach this lesson, Bleedo. Why you know I teach this. Why you doing this? Go ahead, though, Bleedo. You know I teach this. Go ahead, though.
It's called similarities and differences. So, we got to have
similarities.
Look,
I'm going to put a copyright on this lesson right here, though. Go ahead.
Yeah, but so what I'm saying is, they say we were called out of darkness to the marvelous light. So therefore, when you deal with creation, when you deal with day, that's why the day comes out of the night in a sense. You know what I mean? But when you deal with the creation story, you clearly see that the Creator said He separated the light from the darkness, and not the other way around. So in that context, when He did that, that's why evening sits in between the day and the night. If it said in the morning and the evening was the first day, then I can understand the argument more. You know what I mean? And that's another thing that, when we were talking to him, I was trying to get him to see as far as the word and being a conjunction word that joins two things together. You know what I mean? And you can't. If I say Bleedo and Chris is on Debate Talk for You, that means both of us are on Debate Talk for You. You know what I mean?
Well, let me add on to that. Now, when we know he said in the beginning, the Creator created light. Would you agree? That's what he said, right? But we don't get the sun and the moon until the fourth day, right? But we don't get the sun and the moon until the fourth day, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so that light represented the law. So therefore, he created the law in the beginning, and he separated the children of light, which represents that law, because you can read about that. In the book of Psalms 119. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. You can read about that. See, he created law and order. Was the first thing he created. That was that light, because the earth was full of void, because it's allegorical.
Now you going.
You see what I'm saying?
Now you're going to the. I was about to say. Now you're going into the metaphysics. Yeah, but that's true though. First thing. The first thing you call out of chaos is order. You know, when you have a void and destruction and misery, and you call it order, you call law, you call it into being. You know what I mean? Same with us. When we call it out of darkness, that's darkness represents death. You know what I mean? And then that light represents life. So we coming out of darkness, coming out of death, and we coming into life. And when you come into the light, you coming into order. You coming into law. You coming into being. You know what I mean? So we definitely agree on that.
Okay.
Because if there's no law, you're still in darkness. Yeah.
Correct.
You still no law, you're still in darkness. So.
Right. Law is order. He did everything in an order. You see what I'm saying? He gave the Israelites law, statutes, and commandments, that's why he called them the children of the light. You will be a light to the Gentiles. That wasn't no futurist doctrine talking about one man. That was talking about all of Israel. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. So let's.
And
so
that's
let's
all I try to get people to see.
Let's switch gears a little bit and let's see. So when we deal with the text, as far as like, okay, let's say we keep, let's say the person that keeps the law or keeps Torah in a sense, what is the promise? What is the promise that's given to the people? From like, I guess more so. Yeah, let's say more so. Is it life now or is it something in the future? Because I know you did say that there are future prophecies that wasn't fulfilled. So, like, let's say if I keep Torah or a person keeps Torah, is that life now in a sense, or is there a reward for a person that keeps Torah?
Let's go to Daniel chapter 12. Let's go to Daniel chapter 12.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to read at verse 1. And it says, "At that time Michael shall stand up, the great prince who stands watch over the sons of your people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that time. And at that time your people shall be delivered, every one who was found written in the book. And many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Those who are wise shall shine like the brightness of the firmament, and those who turn many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever." Okay, so we can also go into the book of Deuteronomy, where it says, "Keep my commandments and live." We constantly see life throughout our Torah. Okay.
Okay.
Can I read to you my favorite scripture in the Can I read to you my favorite scripture in the entire book?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I want to read Isaiah 55th chapter. It's my favorite scripture. I always tell people that, right? Now, many people, they want to know what problem do I have with JC. Nothing anymore, because I just don't care. All right, now, but I know he told me to look and find life. That's what he always says in his Torah, look and find life. And this is what he says right here in Isaiah 55. Okay? It says, "Ho, everyone who thirsts, come to the waters." What does that water represent, Bleedo?
Where you at? Isaiah 55.
I'm in Isaiah 55.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm there.
It says, "Ho, everyone who thirsts."
Go ahead.
Okay. It said, "Come to the waters." What's that water, Bleedo?
You know. I say the water is the cleansing of the spirit.
That's right. And it says, "And you who have no money, come buy and eat. Yea, come buy wine and milk, without money and without price. Why do you spend money for what is not bread?" Now, I always teach, when I go up to them camps, and sometimes I see them teaching, I always ask them, y'all selling bad bread. That's, I'm always in there like, that's not what that means. I can correct them on a certain scripture, and I'll listen to correction from them too. But when I come right back past them, IUIC Orlando, when I come right back past them, and they still teaching the same thing, I'm like, well, you just got the understanding on that. So why would you continue to teach that? So that's bread. That's bread. That's bad bread. Why are you spending money on that for what is not bread? And your wages for what does not satisfy. Listen carefully to me and eat what is good, and let your soul delight itself in abundance. Incline your ear and come to me. Hear, and your soul shall live, and I will make an everlasting covenant with you, the sure mercies of David. Indeed, I have given him as a witness to the people, a leader and commander for the people. Now, I want to stop there. The reason why this is my favorite thing right here, David committed a super sin. He killed a man. Okay. According to the law, he was supposed to be put to death. According to the law, would you agree? That's what the law say, right?
Yeah.
But the Creator gave him mercy. You understand what I'm saying? He gave him mercy.
Okay.
That's why he's a witness for the people. That's why he sit up there saying, look at David. Look at the servant I gave you with David. You understand what I'm saying? There's my mercy right there. David could have been killed. I could have killed David, but I showed him mercy. You understand what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
I'm sorry. I can't look at somebody dying and listen to him holler out he's being forsaken and say he represents life. That ain't how this works. That's not how that's not how the Torah works. You understand what I'm saying? I can learn anything that Jesus taught, right? I can find right here in this Torah. And I was on the phone with Kevin G, and he was sitting up there saying, that ain't new. That ain't new. You get what I'm saying? And I was just like, every prophet taught a lot of the things that Jesus taught. You understand what I'm saying? Like Isaiah 28, 9 through 13. Can we get there right quick? Let's go there real quick. Okay. Because we dealing with these situations. Okay. Isaiah 28, 9 through 13. All right. And it says, whom will he teach knowledge? And whom will he make understand this message? Those just weaned from milk, those just drawn from the breast, for precept must be upon precept, and line must be upon line. Here a little, there a little. For with stammering lips and another tongue he will speak to this people, to whom he said, this is the rest with which you may cause the weary to rest. And this is the refreshing. Yet they would not hear. But the word of the Most High was to them precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, there a little, that they might go forward and fall backward and be broken. Okay? Now, many people read that. That ain't what that means. They think that's how you're supposed to teach the Bible. That's not what that's talking about. That's how you're supposed to read the Bible.
Yeah, definitely. I remember pointing that out one time when I was in a debate, and they like this, and I used to talk to a lot of people that that say line upon line, precept upon precept is how you're supposed to teach the Bible, and I'm like, that is not what they're saying. So I know what you're saying, but go ahead.
Okay, now let's go to Isaiah 28. Let's go to Isaiah. Where am I at here? I want to go to Isaiah. Excuse me. Oh, brother, I just lost my spot. Excuse me. Oh boy, I just lost my spot. Goodness gracious. Keep going, man. Keep going. I just lost my spot.
You good. No, okay. So basically to build on
lost my thought.
I guess what the whole conversation is, in a sense. I don't know how much more time we got left, but what it seems like I'm getting from you in a sense is that Jesus, which we agree upon on Jesus, in a sense, is not to be served as God.
Correct.
As a God, right? And that the Creator in the Old Testament is the God of the Bible, or the God of Israel, the God of Israel, which there is a clear scripture in the book of Acts that I used to point out when I used to debate or whatever, that clearly separates Jesus, which I was taught that Jesus was the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's what I was taught. So I found this verse in the book of Acts, and I'm going to read this verse right here to show the people that Jesus can't be the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob for those that believe in his literalness. And it says it right here in the Bible. in the New Testament. Okay, this is what is that? All right, Acts chapter 3. I'm gonna read this verse 12. And Peter saw it. He answered unto the people, "Ye men of Israel, why marvel you at this, or why you look so earnestly on us, as though for by our own power or holiness we had made this man to walk? The God of Abraham and of Isaac and of Jacob, the God of our fathers, hath glorified his son Jesus, whom he delivered up and denied him in the presence of Pilate when he was determined to let him go." So I was taught that Jesus is the God of the Old Testament. But I'm guessing here that he wasn't, because it clearly say that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob raised up his son. So, I used to ask questions, bro, a lot of times. That's why when me and you build, I used to like to ask questions about stuff like this, and nobody would be able to give me no answer.
Shucklebutt.
Yeah. So I just like, can you explain how Jesus is the God of the Old Testament and the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? This clearly separates the two, and I would never get an answer. So I can understand, like I say, I can understand people that put the New Testament down in a sense. I can understand it. Me, I deal with both of them just from, like I say, from a spiritual or allegorical sense, and it works for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't say you have to follow me and do what I do, you know what I mean, or believe the way I believe.
All right, so it's public Q&A time once again. For this particular segment, it's 15 minutes each round. So let's go back to the public. Let's go to 323-232. You're live on air.
Hey, shalom, Sal. Hey, shalom, Chris. Shalom, Bleedo.
What's up, bro?
What's going on, bro?
I know that voice. That's Amiyan. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man? But, we had the conversation about this date thing. We had that conversation, right?
It was one of the most, hey, Sal, this was one of the most entertaining conversations I ever heard in my life, man. Instead of listening to Drake, I was listening to these two go at it about that for about 45 minutes, man, on my way to work. Go ahead, though.
Come on now, Bleedo. I went clearly to the book of 1 Samuel, and it's clear as day that if the moon ushers in the beginning of the month, logically, that should also begin the beginning of a day. Because the beginning of the month also begins the beginning of a day. The first day on the calendar, that also is the beginning of a day. The beginning of the month is the beginning of a day. According to what you're saying, when the month begins with the moon at night, you're saying that the day don't begin yet. It begins 12 hours later when the sun comes up. This is what you're saying. So what you're saying actually is that for that first day of the month, that first day in the month, you're saying that don't begin when the moon ushers it in. That day actually begin when the sun ushers it in. So what you're saying that the sun is actually ushering in the first day of the month is what you're saying.
Right, you're right. That's what I'm saying.
Right. So now,
that's what I'm saying.
So I'm explaining to you this is that in the Bible there is two periods that's known as day. There is a 12-hour period and there is a 24-hour period. So when you mean a day, you're referencing a 12-hour period when the sun is up for 12 hours. You're not referencing a 24-hour period known as day because the moon is letting you know that the beginning of the month ushers in this beginning of day, and that will be consistent throughout the whole month. Why would it change if the moon brings in the beginning of the month, which begins the day? Why will it change?
Right, but remember, okay, so I'm gonna answer that. But let me say this: remember, when we had the conversation, and you were saying that a day starts in the evening time, right? So remember, I told you you're not being consistent in your argument because you're not keeping the position as far as what you believe when the day changes. So we both can agree on the daylight portion of it. You said clearly, and we both know clearly that the Creator called the light day. So the portion of the 24-hour period that we have, or the problem that we have with the 24-hour period is when that day starts is a 12-hour period, right? Then the night is a part of that day. That's the thing that you change. You put the night first, and then you put the day after the night. But that's not how the text or how the scriptures read. So now when you say a 24-hour period, the day is first, right? And the scripture says that the 12th hour. So let's do it like this: day and then evening. Evening is a representation of the 12th hour. Then nighttime comes. Then morning comes. Morning is a representation of the 24th hour, and then the beginning of the day again. Okay, so therefore you have your 24-hour period. You have your full day of light. You have your full night, and then you have the next day that begins. That's how that is. That's how the text reads. Evening and morning were, which is past tense, the first day. So when the evening passed and the morning came, the first day was complete. That's how the text reads.
Okay. Do you have a scripture that says that when the sun is up, that begins a day, a 24-hour period called a day?
Well, let me see. I think Psalms.
The Day of Atonement.
Well, I actually got a scripture, but off the top of my head, I got to see if I can pull it. I think it's Psalms. It might be Psalms 50. If I'm mistaken.
The Day of Atonement starts at sundown.
The mighty God, even the Lord, have spoken.
But it's celebrated from. Hold on. Go ahead.
Okay. He asked me for a scripture. The mighty God, even the Lord, have spoken and called the earth from the rising of the sun until the going down thereof.
Okay, that doesn't say that a 24-hour period day when the sun is up is called day.
You want a verse that, well, Genesis 1 and what's name say he called the light day. I mean, I don't know what else you want. Evening and morning it's a confuse. Evening and morning is where you confuse. Okay, let's do this. Can you explain evening?
No, let's do this. Amayan, can you read? Let's go back. Let's just slow it down for a minute. Go ahead. Hold on, Amayan. This our thing right here. You calling in, brother? We got you.
What did I say? What did I say,
thought you
bro?
told me to hold on. I was like, dang, hold on. My fault.
Yeah,
Amayan.
y'all gonna be able to fight Friday, man. Let's keep it peaceful.
Hey, look, Amayan, can you read Genesis chapter 2, verse 1? 1 through 3.
All right, bro. Genesis chapter 2, verse 1. Right?
Yeah.
It says, "Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made."
Okay.
That's verse
now,
1 and
it
2.
say right there, that's verse 1 and 2. Can you read 3?
"And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made."
Okay, so is it called the Sabbath day, or does the Sabbath day begin in the evening, or does it begin in the daytime? Because when did the Creator hallow the Sabbath day? He's hallowed it on the day, on the seventh day, right? Ain't that what it say right there? And we know the word of God cannot be changed. He blessed the seventh, and he rested on the seventh day, right?
Yes.
Okay, so therefore, the day following the Sabbath day, the day before the Sabbath day will be the day of preparation, right?
The day before the Sabbath.
The day before the Sabbath is the day of preparation, preparing for the Sabbath, right?
Okay, all right, yes.
Okay, so that entire day, on the seventh day, you're not working because you've prepared for that day, and you're resting, right?
The sixth day you're talking about?
The seventh day, you rest.
Okay.
Okay, so why would the day begin at evening? when he clearly tells you he rested on the seventh day. He don't say he rested on the seventh evening. He said he rested on the seventh day and hallowed it.
Because of Leviticus 23. I'll read it for you. That's what Leviticus 23 says. I'll read it. I get right to the point. Leviticus 23, verse 32. It says, "And it shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls. In the 9th day of the 4th month at even, from even unto even shall you celebrate your Sabbath."
Okay, now right here, that's cool. I like the fact that you went here, but this is the beginning of a feast day, not a regular Sabbath day.
Brother, all the days, all the feast days are Sabbaths.
Those are high Sabbath days.
Okay, I understand, but
the feast days are high Sabbath days.
I'm pointing out to you that the fact is that you have a weekly Sabbath and you have feast days which are also Sabbath. So if the feast days which are Sabbaths are from even to even, that would make the weekly Sabbath also from even to even.
Hold on, Bleedo. Let me handle this real quick. Okay, so you went to 23 in verse what?
32.
Very good. Start at 23, verse 1 through 3. Read that, please. Get context.
Brother, and the Most High spake unto Moses,
please.
saying, "Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation, even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest, and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings." That's
Okay,
1, 2,
now,
3.
Paul, it said right there, the Sabbath day is a day of rest, right? It tells you right there, right? Now we're going into the feast of the Lord. What time are feasts proclaimed? You celebrate a feast at evening, bruh. So they're eating at the evening hour. That's why it's at the evening. That ain't talking about no regular Sabbath, brother. That's what we're trying to get you to see.
What you mean in a brother? Brother. Okay, so you saying that?
Do we eat the Passover, or do you, since you eat Jesus, do you eat the Passover at night, or do you eat it during the day?
Brother, you eat the Passover at night.
Okay, why do you eat it at night?
Because that's when it begins, at night. That's what I was trying to tell you.
No, because they had to make haste out of Egypt at night, so they had to hurry up and cook and get up out of there. That's what it represents. He tells you a Sabbath begins at the day. You got to understand the difference between a Sabbath, sir. Sir, it tells you right here that the Sabbath begins. The 6-day Sabbath begins that day, and you still won't listen to that. Okay, I'm done. I rest my case.
Good. All right.
Let me add. Let me add something to what y'all saying.
Oh, fellas, let's let you. I know before you continue, I'm gonna step away for 2 minutes. I'll be right back though. Continue. Go ahead.
Okay. Hey, real quick, bro. Look at Psalms 103 real quick for me. 104, and look at verse 23 for me real quick.
Psalms 104 and 23.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it says, "Man goeth forth unto his work, and to his labor until the evening."
Okay, so man, I really should have started at 19, but it's cool. So verse 23 says, "Man go forth unto his work and to his labor until the evening." Right. Now go back to that Leviticus where you were just reading the feast days. Go back there real quick. I want to show you something.
Where in Leviticus you want me to start at?
Just read verse 3.
Leviticus 23, verse 3. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is
Let's stop right there real quick. So according to Psalms 104, verse 23, you just read that man goeth forth into his work until the evening time, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're just gonna use simple mathematics. So 6 days shall work be done, right? So man will work 6 days until the evening time, right?
Right.
Every night after the first day that he worked, nighttime he rested. Went to sleep, got back up, went back to work again, he rested. Same thing for 6 straight days, right? Now, when he got off that 6th night, he went to sleep and rested the same way that he did the other 5 nights before that, right? Now the 7th day comes in, the Sabbath day. He's resting from his work. Now he's not going to work for that 12-hour period. He has a day of rest. That's what that's dealing with. So this is why the Sabbath, you notice here in that verse, it doesn't say that the 7th day at even is the Sabbath of rest. It says, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest. Because at evening time, he got off every day and he rested. So it's nothing special or hallowed about the night period, because the night period is darkness.
Okay.
So when we dealing
this
with
the
that
Sabbath
context,
day. Wait, the Sabbath day
right.
is a 24-hour period.
Okay,
You're
so
referencing
if you want to make so listen, if you want to make that a 24-hour period, then when the 6th day, you have the evening, you get off. The nighttime comes, you already rested like you did the rest of the night. The 7th day come in, now you're off. The 7th night starts, you can still rest and keep your Sabbath if you want it to be 24 hours. That's fine. But what we're trying to get you to see is that the day period still started in the morning time.
Okay, brother, I understand that, but brother, I'm not arguing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not arguing that. What you're trying to do is that you're trying to say that when a man get up to go to work, that begins a 24-hour period, and that is not the truth. You're trying to insinuate that, and that doesn't say that.
That's when man works, bro. It say the sun arise, man go forth into his work. The sun arise, man go forth. That's the beginning of your day. Like how when you get off, your day starts when you're going to sleep. That makes no sense. That's like saying the Creator would sleep working.
It does make sense because verse 32 tells you that. Verse 32 says you shall celebrate your Sabbath from even to even. That's what it says. It doesn't say from morning. Listen, it doesn't say from morning to morning. You saying morning to morning celebrate your Sabbath, but it doesn't say that. It says even to even.
No, I didn't say that, because you have 2 days there. You have the 9th day and you have the 10th day. So the 9th day at evening time is when you deal with that. Then the 10th day comes in, it's the Day of Atonement. Then the evening time comes in, and that's it. You have 9 and 10. You don't have just one day. You don't have just one day there. I told you can take a sheet of paper,
brother,
bro, and you can write this down.
There is a gap. No. What you are saying is that the 9th day at even, that's sundown. You saying that the 10th day begins 12 hours later when the sun comes up. Is what you're saying. That's what you're saying, which doesn't make any sense.
Right. That's the 9th day.
That wouldn't make any sense.
Okay. Look.
If the 9th day at even,
be able to see this.
Brother, where is the 9th day morning at? You went from 9th day evening, 12 hours later to 10th day morning. You skipped the whole evening, a whole morning and a night.
Right. No, listen. The 9th day. Let me see if I can show you this.
Can I ask a question right quick, Bleedo?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Amayan. In the feast of the Lord, how do I count to the Feast of Weeks?
You count from the marrow after the Sabbath. That would be.
But it says.
That's what it says. I can read it right here in Leviticus for you.
I'm here.
Okay.
Can
Leviticus
you read?
23. Yeah, Leviticus 23. I'm gonna start at. Let me get right to the point. Verse 15. It says, "And ye shall count unto you from the marrow after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be counted." It's the marrow after the Sabbath, the day after the Sabbath. That'll be the first day of the week.
Right. So I would count from evening to evening, or would I count day to day?
You would count even to even, sundown to sundown.
Okay, so sundown to sundown. So the Day of Atonement, this is why I'm asking you this. Now watch this. It says, "And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Also the 10th day of this 7th month shall be the Day of Atonement. It shall be a holy convocation for you. You shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made by fire to the Lord. And you shall do no work on that same day, for it is the Day of Atonement to make atonement for you before the Lord your God. For any person who is not afflicted who has not afflicted on the same day shall be cut off from his people." Why do you keep saying this marvel this evening at?
Okay, listen, I'm going to say this real slow.
Your last meal is to be eaten at the evening time.
Wait a minute, this is what I'm saying real slow. You read verse 27. Verse 27 says, also on the 10th day of the 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. So the day of atonement is on the 10th day of the month. Okay? That's what it's on. Again, the day of atonement is on the 10th day of the month. That means
so
why
write 9 in there?
Wait, let me finish. That means it is not on the 9th day. It's on the 10th day, says verse 27. It's not on the 9th day. Now, I'm going to jump down to verse 32, which is going to mention the 9th day, but listen to what it says. Verse 32 says, and it shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls. In the 9th day of the month, it says at even. Remember, verse 27 says it's on the 10th day. So how can verse 32 say, let me finish.
That's what we're trying to tell you, bro.
You ain't trying to tell me. I'm trying to tell you. Right? You ain't trying to tell me. I'm trying to tell you.
Amayan, hold on.
Let me finish.
What we trying to tell?
Hold
on, man. Hold on. You don't be coming up here all that Mr. T talk with me. Slow it down for a minute.
I was talking.
We tried to tell you that.
Something.
Listen what I'm saying. Bro, we done already explained this to you. Slow your roll for a minute so we can explain ourselves while you talking.
Chris, I don't
heard you out just now, bro. Hold on. Amayan. Slow your roll and hold your shalom,
Hey.
What I'm trying to tell you is it tells you
me when I was trying to explain my point. You cut me off from making my point.
Okay.
Go ahead, make your point.
Finish my point, man. Come on, man.
Go ahead, make your point.
Brother, my point is that verse 27 is telling you that the Day of Atonement is in the 10th day. That's what it says in verse 27.
Okay.
It's on the 10th day. Now, when you come down to verse 32, I'm going to read it again. It says, it shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls. It says, in the 9th day at even. So it sounds like verse 32 and verse 27 are saying two different things. But it is not.
Mm-hmm.
It's because the 9th day at even ends the 9th day and begins the 10th day. That's harmony with verse 27. So now you see.
All right, fellas, I'm back. I apologize. Went over the 15-minute mark. We have to go back to the rounds. I believe it's Chris time. Chris, you got 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. Sal, we want to keep the line open because that's very important. I'm trying to sit up there and say what Amayan constantly does. He skips scripture, and this is very important that everybody hears this. Okay? He went to the Day of Atonement because this is similarities and differences. And let's talk about this. It says also the 10th day of the 7th month. Everything is beginning at the daytime. This is what he doesn't understand. And instead of it being a great dialogue, everything turns into an argument, okay? Let's continue. It says, on the 10th day of the 7th month shall be the Day of Atonement. Not night of atonement, not the evening of atonement, but the Day of Atonement. All right? It shall be a holy convocation for you. You shall afflict your souls an offering made by fire to the Most High. And you shall do no work on that same day. These are the regulations for it. This is what he's not seeing. For it is the Day of Atonement to make atonement for you before the Lord your God. For any person who is not afflicted, his soul on that same day shall be cut off from his people. And any person who does not work on that same day, that person I will destroy from among his people. You shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations and dwellings. It will be to you a Sabbath, a solemn rest, and you shall afflict your souls from evening to evening. You shall celebrate your Sabbath. Now, when it says from evening to evening, the Most High is not a house of confusion. Man is a house of confusion. It's your last meal is supposed to be eaten at evening time. So you're not supposed to eat nothing else until the next evening, because on the Day of Atonement, you're supposed to be resting, meditating, and praying for forgiveness for your souls and afflicting yourself. You are to do nothing that day. That's why it's called the Day of Atonement. And at the next evening, you go ahead and pig out and enjoy yourself. This is what he's not understanding. The Day of Atonement starts when you start your fast. The following day, you're allowed to eat. See, this is the confusion that we're speaking about. And this is the surface level reading that I continue to tell our people we won't listen, and we just won't read with understanding, because the Creator has got to stay in tune with himself. There's no way he will create confusion within a simple text like this. Sal, open up the line. Oh, I got a headache listening to that guy, man. Boy.
All right, we got to stay in the format right now, though. We got to stay in format. We got to go to Bleedo. Give him 5 minutes. Bleedo, where you at, Bleedo? Oh, there you go. You can go ahead, brother. 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm cool with if you want to open up the lines. I mean, I'll touch on what he just said as well, but then if you want to open up the lines, it's cool. I'm beyond. I mean, I don't know if you're gonna call back in or whatever it may be, but and I really don't want to just turn this segment into when the day began and things of that nature. But what you're not looking at, Chris just kind of broke it down pretty solid. What you got to look at, bro, is that it says the ninth day. It says at evening. And what you're doing is you're taking the ninth day at evening and you're taking it and you're changing it to mean the 10th day. Well, if you do that, you're going to run into a problem, because when I read on the 7th day is a Sabbath of rest, you're going to say that that's the 7th day. You're not going to say that's the 8th day. So when I read the 9th day, you're going to tell me that means the 10th day. That's total confusion, and it makes no sense. So as Chris stated, what you got to look at it, and I wanted to show you this in Exodus 12 with the Passover, but I'm gonna just stay with this Leviticus 23 right now. But what you got to understand, bro, is that the ninth day had already started. Remember, you already worked until the evening time, as I just pointed out to you and showed you that. So now, after you work on the ninth day, it's the evening time. This is when you, as Chris said, you afflict your soul, right? Then the 10th day, which starts when the light is up, which God calls the light day, this is the Day of Atonement, okay? That's when you deal with the Day of Atonement. Then the evening comes, which ends the Day of Atonement, and begins the night of the 10th day. Then you eat and do whatever you want to do, and then the 11th day or whatever is the next day, and you go back to work to the evening time. That is how the Bible reads. You're adding to, and trying to change when the day starts, because you don't understand that the evening is the in-between period of the light and the darkness. That is basically when he says, and he separated or divided the light from darkness. The way that the Creator divided the two was with the evening. Evening is not fully dark, and the evening is not fully light. The same with the morning. The morning is not fully dark, and the morning, it's not fully light. It's like a mixture in a sense. You're changing the context of what the word means. When you look up sundial, you can go Google it or whatever you want to do and type it in, and you will see an image of what it looks like. Just type in dawn or type in dusk and look at an image of what it looks like. It's not nighttime, okay? It's like a mixture of light and darkness. So this is what you have to understand, bro. So, and I think that's all we're trying to tell you. Like I told you on the phone, I'm not trying to tell you you're wrong and I'm right. I'm not trying to act like I have higher knowledge than you have. I'm just trying to explain something that I feel is something that's simple to understand, and you're making it hard. So with that, I yield the rest of my time.
All right, we got a 15-minute dialogue session. Y'all want to take it? Go ahead, y'all. Dialogue.
Okay, so here's the confusion that I'll be talking about. Like, Bleedo, I'm not about to turn this into a when do a day begin, okay? Nor do I want to debate anybody about this subject, okay? It's madness. The Creator said the day began in daytime. If I'm a Gentile and you come up to me, and I come to an Israelite, and he starts talking to me like the day began at night or the day began in the evening with the sundown, I'm going to start to slowly walk away, be like, this brother crazy right here, man. It's the middle of the morning. What do you mean it's nighttime or it's not daytime? How do you count the Feast of Weeks? The Creator said you count days. You see what I'm saying? Even in the movie Roots, they was asking George, how many days? How many days? You see what I'm saying? So I be all like, guys, it's like they don't see it. Like when David traveled, when he removed the tabernacle, they were like a 6 days journey. They don't count nights. You know what I'm saying? That evening, the evening confuses people, and that's natural with our people because we've been taught the wrong way for so long. For so long, we've been taught the wrong way.
And to add to what you're saying too, and like I say, not to turn this into that type of conversation, but to add to what you're saying is, if you look at the text, I mean, if you look at and this is just simple, bro. You have the midnight, which is, what we have as midnight. That's the middle of the night. So if that is the middle of the night, then the evening time would have to be the beginning of the night. You know what I mean? And again, it's just clear that those two periods are not the same, and they are separated from from each other. So it's not really even something to debate. Like I said, I've debated it twice, and it was just like, it just puzzled me, that the person really believed in that. And like I said, time, man, when you're trying, and the thing is, okay, and I'm gonna just put it like this: they look at it like we've been taught wrong. The Gentiles or the so-called white man, or however you look at it, taught us that a day started at midnight, and he was wrong. So they just want to prove him wrong, which is okay. Which is okay if he's wrong.
Which is okay, right? Right.
But you can't prove him wrong and still be wrong, though. You know what I'm saying? You can't prove him wrong and still be wrong. That just don't make sense. You know what I mean? So it's like,
here go my thing.
Those are the things, and that's just one of many things that creates the confusion, bro. So and these brothers, remember when me and you was chopping it up about the law. What was it? What did it say? The law give us wisdom, right? I think, or this should be your wisdom to the other nations, right? And when you hear a brother who say he keeps the law, I'm not saying, and I'm not going to judge nobody, even though I do believe that being spiritual, you can judge all matters. But I'm not going to even judge the individual like that. But I will say this: if an individual tells me he keeping the law, and then he comes to me and tells me they start in the evening time, I'm going to say that he don't have much wisdom. I'm just going to be real. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to say he don't have much. Right. So you're
and
making
like we're trying to say,
creator...
we're not trying to say that we right, Amayan, and you wrong. We're just trying to tell you to take a longer look at what it is that you're reading, okay? Because if that's the case, how you get 3 days from 3 nights in the 3-day death, burial, and resurrection? How you get that? You get what I'm saying? Do you do it at evening, or do you do 3 days and 3 nights? I'm pretty sure y'all count 3 days and 3 nights on y'all so-called, right?
No, they switch it. See, the thing is, here we go with more confusion. The scriptures say 3 days and 3 nights. But Amayan and other brothers are going to say 3 nights and 3 days.
Exactly.
So which one is it?
Right. Which one is it?
He went in the grave at nighttime. See, so it was, come on, bro. Like, y'all can't, like, I'm trying to, I ain't going to even turn up, man. I'm going to stay my Lord chill. But,
no,
yeah,
but
man,
this is what we're trying to say is the problem. And I remember Josh from ABT, he had an old debate, right? And he stood up here and said, this the problem, Israel. You're not being honest. He want to talk, but he's saying you're not being honest about simple things. The Day of Atonement, it's called the Day of Atonement. All right, it's not called the Evening of Atonement. A feast begins in the evening. All the feasts are at evening. You see what I'm saying? So when he sees evening, you're getting the Sabbath day mixed up. Now you're mixing up what the Creator said versus the Creator's feast days. You don't eat a feast in the middle of the day. You eat it in the evening. The evening just shows what time, or just the regulations of what time they start. That's all. You get what I'm saying? By the time that Day of Atonement comes around, you should already be resting. You should be afflicting your soul on that day. Then the evening is from evening to evening. It's not that hard. Like, I think it's just the concept that we've been taught so wrong. You found out that you're an Israelite, and you still bringing Christianity over here into it. Bottom line, and I said it.
Right.
Okay? It's the bottom line. That's not a knock on my Christian brothers and sisters, but sometimes When I be hearing vocab talk, I be all like, vocab got ya. You know what I'm saying? I be all like, vocab be catching y'all, and you don't even hear it. And I be saying it all the time, and he know he be catching y'all. You see what I'm saying? With simple concepts like this.
Yeah, hey, check this out. Okay, check this out. I want to look at this Exodus 12 real quick, and with the Passover, for example, right? Now it says here, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna read this one verse. And you shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. It's right there.
It's right there.
It's right there, bro. You keep it up to the 14th day of the same month, and the evening time you kill it. It's right there, bro.
And one more time, we ain't trying to say we right and you wrong, Amayan, but, according to 2 to 3 witnesses, we right and you wrong. That's all he's saying right here, according to 2 to 3 witnesses.
Right. So, and I like I say, I know y'all gonna have a good debate. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I know he called in and things and they. So I'm not gonna get into just beating up on him, man. But you just gotta take your time, man, and really study these things out, bro. Hey,
Bleedo, do you still believe the book got a veil on it? Do you still believe the book got a veil on it?
Yeah, I do. I have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explain yourself.
Especially with something as small as this. You know what I mean? Like the veil is that. And the crazy thing about it, like, okay, let me say this. Okay, let me say this. I'm gonna go into the verse real quick. Let me go into the New Testament. I know Chris hates this New Testament. I'm reading Paul. I don't care if he likes.
Nah, I don't hate the book. Now don't say that. Nah, come on, man.
Nah, I just don't. Man. You gonna get some of this Paul, man. No, I'm messing with you, bro. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna be a tour night when I'm done with you too.
You gonna get some of this Paul. All right, check this out. Okay. So verse 13 says, and as Moses,
where we at?
Which put a veil.
Where we at?
2 Corinthians chapter 3. I'm sorry.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 13 says, okay, and as Moses, which put a veil over his face, that the children of Israel could not steadfastly look to the end of that which is abolished. Their minds were blinded, for until this day remain the same veil untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament, which veil is done away in Christ. But even unto this day, when Moses read, the veil is upon their heart, right? So I know you know Christ. I know you know it ain't Jesus, but Christ within you. What else? Spiritual mindset. But the thing of it is when you see brothers, again, we were just talking about how the law is supposed to be wisdom. But when you see brothers read this book and they tell you a day start in the evening time, something that's small, and that's I'm sorry, bro, like that's the beginning of the book. That's the first page, the first chapter, and that's if you don't understand that, how can I get anything else from you? How can I learn anything else from you? When you don't
understand man, I got a debate on Friday. What you talking about? I got the debate on Friday. What you talking about, man? But no, since you want to deal with Paul, let's get an audience a treat. Let's go to verse 7. Let's get some Paul, everybody's favorite person, Paul. Read verse 3, chapter 3, verse 7 for me, please.
Okay, but if the ministration of death written and engraven in stones was glorious, so that the children of Israel could not steadfastly behold the face of Moses, for the glory of his countenance, which glory was to be done away. How shall keep going?
Okay. He called the old covenant the ministry of death. The old covenant ain't nothing but the same as the so-called renewed covenant. So how can he call it the ministry of death? You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Let's go to Psalms 19 and 17. Let's go to Psalms 19 and 17.
I look at. Okay, all right. Go ahead. You say Psalms.
Because Paul don't agree with the what's up, Nick? Paul must not agree with the with the Old Testament at all. All right, or the Tanakh.
Okay.
Excuse me.
You said Psalm 119 what?
No, Psalms 19 verse 7.
Oh, 19, my bad.
Yep, read 7 through 11. Since it's a ministry of death. Hey, Mikael, if you listening, man, you better call up here, man. You better defend this one.
Yeah, Bleedo called this drop. He's called this drop.
Oh,
We're just
man.
got to wait for Bleedo to call back in. Hold on, let me pause the timer. All right. Once Bleedo call back in, we'll continue. Again, that number is 319-527-6239. We're gonna go to the public once again right after this. But if you have any questions or any comments, just dial that number and press number 1. We're gonna go back to the public Q&A right after this. So again, people, the number is 319-527-6239. I think this is Bleedo right here. I got.
Man, I'm glad we went in overtime. Man. We'll go ahead.
I'd have brought you in on
Psalm
3 ways. Okay, Psalms 19,
okay.
7 through 11. Go ahead.
Okay. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true, and the righteousness altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yeah, that much fine gold. Sweeter also than honey and honeycomb.
Okay, verse 11, and you can be done.
Okay. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping of them there is great reward.
Okay, so how is this the ministry of death?
Good question.
Go ahead, I'll wait.
Okay. You want me to go back and try to answer that?
No, I think that stoic silence was enough.
What did you say? Was not that what?
Stoic silence you just gave. That stoic silence was enough you just gave.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, okay, but the thing with what I believe that means, as far as like when he says the letter kill us and a spirit give his life, right? Well, this is how I take that, and from my understanding, how I view it, is that the letter, in a sense, is reading the text literal in a sense. And the spirit is reading the text as an allegory. Okay? So we understand, or for example, I understand that the law of God is eternal, and even Paul wrote that the law of God is holy, just, and good. So I would say along the lines, he do agree with what we just read in the book of Psalms, but when he said that it was written and engraven in stones, notice that he put that it was in verse 3. It says, ministered by us, written not with ink, but with the spirit of the living God, not in tables of stone, but in fleshly tables of the heart. So this right here is like, for example, in the Old Testament, you had the Ark of the Covenant, you had physical things that you can deal with when we read the text, right? But now we don't have none of that. Now we don't have none of that. So those things were symbols for what we can deal with now, which is the spirit of the living God. And not saying that even in the old covenant they didn't deal with the spirit of God, because we can read that they did also deal with the spirit of God, and that's why I say that I deal with it more from an allegorical sense. But I understand what you brought out in that Psalm 19. I understand what you were saying about it.
Like if we go to I'm gonna read Proverbs 6:23, because in that Sal, give me a minute, one more second, all right? And it says, if you continue to read, it says, for if the ministry of condemnation had glory, the ministry of righteousness exceeds much more in glory, right? For even that was made glorious had no glory in this respect, because the glory because of the glory that excels, right? So first he called it the ministry of death, then he called it the ministry of condemnation, right? Mm-hmm. But once again, that's different from Proverbs, what our book teaches us, because it's Proverbs 6:23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is a light, and the reproofs of instructions are the way of life. So me and you gonna disagree on this, and we go at this all the time about Paul. If I do make it to the kingdom, and I pray that I do, and I'm one in that number, I got to ask him what you writing. Is he there? You see what I'm saying?
I know we probably gonna get cut off, but when I haven't read this story in a while. I don't know if you're super familiar with it. But when Moses' face had shown, why did he put that mask on his face?
Because of the glory from the Creator. It was shining on him. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. From that story, I haven't read it in a while. But he put a veil over his face so the people couldn't see that though, right?
Right.
Or what was, we have to look at it. We'll talk about that at another time. Because I got a question, but I got to read the story in order to ask the question the correct way. You know what I'm saying? So.
All right, family, we're winding down. So when we go to this public Q&A, it's going to be the last time we go into it. And after that, we'll get some final words. All right, man. There's some final words. And after that, we're going to pretty much wrap it up. But let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to 757-309. You're live on air.
Hi, this is Dorothy. I have a question for Bleedo. We didn't finish it on Facebook. But do you believe Jesus was a person? I'm kind of confused of what you believe.
Okay, I believe that Jesus, reading the Bible, we can read that he was a person in the Bible, right?
Right.
So I can't deny reading the Bible that Jesus is written in the Bible, but I believe that Jesus is a character used that symbolize, or Jesus is a symbol that symbolizes us.
Oh, so that's what you were trying to tell me. Okay.
Right.
So you don't
he's
believe
a symbol.
that he... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So you don't believe that he died for our sins?
No. The thing with the dying for sins, and the thing with dying for sins, things like that, if you look at the story of Jesus was, according to the text, he came in the flesh, or God, in a sense, came in the flesh, right? So it's written in the Bible that we have the Spirit of God in our flesh. So what we have to do is we have to crucify. And I believe Paul wrote it. I don't know exactly where the scripture is at off the top of my head, where he says crucify your flesh. So we have to crucify our flesh the same way that Jesus crucified his flesh. Jesus told his disciples to take up their cross. So if we are disciples, in a sense, then we are to carry up our cross and crucify ourselves on the cross the same way that we read in that story.
Okay. Well, that was all my question. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
All right, family. Once again, this is your time. If you have any questions or any comments, it's the last round. All right, last round. So if you have any questions or comments, there's a lot of people on the phone lines. Number is 319-527-6239. All right, let's go to 323-232. You're live on air.
Okay, bro, I'm back. Okay, all right. You don't get. I'm gonna pull one scripture to prove my point about this day thing, and then this should once and for all kill this nonsense that y'all are saying, because it sounds good what y'all are saying, but it's totally off. St. John's chapter 20, and I'm gonna read verse 1. Now this ain't for Chris, because Chris don't believe in the New Testament. St. John chapter 20 verse 1 reads, it says, the first day of the week. So John is letting you know that this is the first day of the week has already begun. It says, cometh Mary Magdalene early. It says, when it was yet dark. The sun has not came up yet, but John is letting us know that it's the first day of the week. So at nighttime, he's letting us know that the first day of the week has already begun before the sun came up. This is proof that the day begins at night before the sun comes up. Refute that.
Can I answer? Are we still live?
Yeah, go ahead. You on?
Okay. Once again, my brother Amayan, he goes into the New Testament, but once again, he rejects the word of his Creator. And this is why he rejects the word of his Creator. And I'm going to read it to you. It's just this simple. And it says, I'm going to read Ezekiel chapter 3. All right? And it says, starting at verse 4. Then he said to me, Son of man, go to the house of Israel and speak my words to them. For you are not sent to a people of unfamiliar speech and hard language, but to the house of Israel. Not to many people of unfamiliar speech and of hard language, whose words you cannot understand. Surely had I sent you to them, they would have listened to you. So they're saying other nations would have listened to you as Ezekiel. But let's continue on. But the house of Israel will not listen to you, because they will not listen to me. For all the house of Israel are impotent and hard-headed. There you go right there.
Okay.
You went to John.
Okay.
That ain't no prophet. Who is John?
It says Israel.
I don't know him.
That would include
Who's
you too then. If Israel is impotent, that would include you too then.
The law, can the law of the Creator be changed? Yes or no?
Brother, ain't no one changed the law of the Creator. I'm bringing you here to John to explain to you clearly. This tells you that the day begin at night, and you can't refute that.
Okay, so how do you get 3 days and 3 nights?
He died at 3 p.m., which I can show you. This is simple stuff right here, bro. He died at 3 p.m. Joseph, he died at 3 p.m. because he was there. He go get the body and put the body in the tomb before the sun went down. So let's call that about 5 p.m. Christ was in the tomb. So that's 5 p.m. Wednesday to 5 p.m. Thursday. That's one complete day and one complete night. So 5 p.m. Thursday to 5 p.m. Friday.
To evening. So it's evening to evening, right?
I'm giving you 3 days and 3 nights. Yes, sir. I'm giving you starting from Wednesday, 5 p.m.
Okay.
That means he got up Saturday at 5 p.m.
Okay.
Before the sun went down. 3 days and 3 nights right there.
Okay.
So I'll prove my point. Like I said, I was trying to explain to you in Leviticus 23 when it says the 9th day at sundown, that's nighttime, that begins the 10th day, which harmonized verse 27, which say on the 10th day is the Day of Atonement. So the 9th day at even have to begin the 10th day to harmonize the scripture. Otherwise, you have a contradiction there. That's all I was trying to say.
Okay, so do you believe in what the Edomites do, like you like to call them, the so-called white man? Do you believe in them and how they celebrate their holidays? Okay,
no,
but
they
celebrate their holidays I'm telling you, they celebrate their holidays at night too. Hey, Sal, Bleedo said he muted. Okay. Okay, well, I mean, I'm done. I don't know what else to tell you. So you're right, I'm wrong.
Okay, no problem.
Hey, Okay, hold on. No. It's not gonna be that easy. Okay, if that was your knockout punch, that was a weak punch, bro. I took that one and even flinched. Okay, go to Mark 16 real quick for me.
I guess in the New Testament, he renewed the time too.
No, it just when you see yet dark, you got to look it up in the Greek. And the word yet dark means dimness, which is what I was saying as far as the evening and the morning being a mixture of light and darkness. But
okay, you said
Mark
Pixie
16,
Dust chapter what?
Mark 16:2.
Okay.
You still there?
I'm still here.
Okay, it says, and very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came unto the sepulchre or sepulchre at the rising of the sun. There you go, bro.
Okay.
Oh, but wait a minute. Let me answer that real quick. I'm gonna give it to you. Wait a minute, Bleedo. So now we got two gospels fighting each other. Is that what that sound like, Bleedo?
Yeah, if the way he using it, yeah, he got them fighting against each other. Because if you don't look the word up in the Greek.
Mm-hmm. Is it the gospel or is it our beloved brother Amayan?
I'm gonna say it's our beloved brother Amayan, but
okay, I just want some clarity on it.
But if you want to make the two fight each other, then I guess that's what you're gonna have to do if you're trying to prove your point out of it.
No, the New Testament changed the times and dates too, though. So go on here.
Okay, brother. So Bleedo. So let me be clear first. Do you believe what the Gospels say or not? Yes or no?
I believe that at the rising of the sun is when the day starts. Yes.
That wasn't my question to you. I asked my question again to you. That was my question to you. I'm asking one more time again. Do you believe what the Gospels say?
Literally or metaphysically?
Literally. Now, so when you came here in Mark and you read this at this rising of the sun, this then is not literal. So you can make a point to say this is literal because you don't believe that it's literal. You believe that at the rising of the sun is figurative, correct?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
I don't believe. Yeah, I definitely don't believe in the resurrection, like Jesus coming out of the grave and all that. No, but at the same time, there is a story that's written there.
Nowhere neither.
Right, but just to answer your question though, even though I don't take it literal, it's still a story that's written there, and it still says at the rising of the sun. So if I'm reading a book, whether I take the book literal or not, I can read the book and basically understand what it's saying the same way that you can read it where you see at the rising of the sun. You can see that, and I can see that. So that's what we would be debating, not whether I take it literal or metaphysically.
Okay. All right, brother. I'm trying to understand that because you're trying to establish a literal time frame of a beginning of a day. You're not trying to establish a figurative meaning of a day. So, but yet you're pulling Mark, something that you believe is not literal but figuratively, to trying to prove something that's literal. You can't do that. So you coming to Mark right here is irrelevant. You come, brother.
You can do that. Hey, you can do that.
Hold on. Real quick.
No, look.
It's other
Jesus
people that want to talk to Amayan.
Hey, Jesus did it all throughout the Bible. Hold on. Let me answer his question though. Jesus spoke in parables, right? Yes.
Wait a minute. Are you speaking in parables?
Okay. So hold on. I already told you I believe the book is an allegory, but let me make my point. So people he was sitting there with to drink his blood and to eat his flesh, right?
Yes.
Did he say that, or he didn't? He didn't say that.
He did say that. Yes, he did say that.
Okay, so then after he said that, he explained to them what he was saying, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if I look at the book and I'm reading the story, like I said, in the way that you're reading the story, and it says that early in the morning, at the rising of the sun, not early in the nighttime, again, in the evening and the morning was the first day. So the context is morning. You're skipping over that point of when it says in the morning time, and you're looking at the darkness point. I already told you that the day starts. It comes out of the night and into the morning. I call the light out of darkness. So the point you're making is still invalid, bro. It's not saying that the day started in the evening time, bro. Now you're trying to switch your argument. You're trying to switch your argument.
That's brother.
Brother, can I finish? Bro, you gotta,
let me respond to your question.
Period. Take a point, bro.
Hold on. Let me get in real quick. All right. Amayan, you can call me and Bleedo tonight, but we want to get to other callers, man. Just call us tonight, now. We want to get to other callers.
I understand, brother. I'm trying to respond to you.
Okay, we'll bring you back in. Okay, but you've been on. You called in twice. Let's get to other callers, though. You know what I'm saying? That's all we saying, bro. Can we do that?
All right. Well, actually, there ain't no other callers.
Okay, he can stay on then.
Okay. Hey, check this out.
Want to bring him back in?
Yeah, bring him back real quick. I want him to read this.
Yeah, if ain't no other callers, he can stay in. Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, I want you to read. I want him to read this. Amayan.
Brother, can I respond to what you were saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna let you respond real quick. But hold on, I want you to look at something real quick, and then I'm gonna shut up.
Wait a minute. Now you
I'm gonna shut up, bro. I promise you. I'm gonna let
that
you.
Needs clarity.
Okay, look. Right, look. I'm gonna let you speak. I'm gonna shut up everything. I'm gonna let you have the flow. Do me a favor. I want you to go to John. You read John chapter 20:1. You tried to make a point and said, "See, it was still dark," and that shows when the day started. Right. I want you to click on the word early and read the definition for me in the Greek.
Brother, I'm not at no computer.
You read any other definition any other time, now you don't want to read that.
Now you don't want to read this one. This one's finna cut him.
Ain't nothing for the brother. Brother, wait a minute. Let me be clear. Brother, let me be clear, bro. You can't cut me. Let me be clear. You just laughing and talking, but that's all laughing and talk. That ain't even reality.
I don't think it's okay. Death, burial, and resurrection is reality.
But you're dealing with fantasy, so I'm not worried about you dealing with fantasy. You can giggle and laugh all you want, but you're dealing with fantasy. You ain't dealing with reality.
Like the 3-day death, burial, and resurrection, right? I mean, you want to insult us? I can do this because you believe Jesus coming out of the sky with 3 million gangbangers killing all white people.
You ain't got to believe it.
That's what you tell me. I don't.
Brother, you ain't got to believe it. It ain't for you.
Gangbanging in the name of Christ. Get on out of here, man. Now you want to insult us because you busted on one a day again. It's 10:45. Right. Watch this. It's 10:45 here, bro. 10:45 p.m. Is it daytime or is it nighttime? I'm asking you.
Anyway, man, come on, man.
I thought so. End game.
Okay, well, for the callers,
ain't no end game. We're talking about so much stupid stuff. Who don't know for the people that'll be some dumb questions.
Hey, and for the people that'll be listening on YouTube, the word for that he read in 20:1 that yet dark, and it says early. The word early is at dawn. By implication, the daybreak watch, early in the morning. So
exactly.
Game over. So you can go with that one, bro.
Wait a minute.
Come back with that
don't
one
make no sense whatsoever now. That don't make no sense whatsoever. So what you saying, Johnny, saying is that
Mark said.
Of course he's gonna reject it now. He's gonna reject it now.
I'm not rejecting. I'm trying to make sense of what he's trying to say. You got to make sense of what he's saying. He's saying that early means the daybreak. So he says early daybreak when it was dark. That don't make no sense. How's it going to be early daybreak when it's dark?
I told you the word. Bro, I told you the word dark means dimness, bro. Why you not looking up these words, man? You got if you're gonna be a teacher,
anyway, bro.
You gotta start start studying, bro. You gotta start, bro. I'm just being real with you, bro.
I ain't got brother. You gotta start studying. You trying to change the definition of the word. It says dark there.
Look. I'm sitting down, I'm mellow right now, but listen, bro. I'm mellow right now. You can't come in with that weak argument, bro. That's a weak argument, bro. I'm just
brother,
playing to you.
No, that ain't no weak argument. How's it going to be a weak argument?
I went to Mark, right? You believe in the gospel. You believe in literal. I went to Mark, and Mark said early in the morning at the sunrise, when the sun was rising. You're going to John, and you're trying to refute what Mark is saying. I'm showing you that Mark and John agrees with each other, but you're telling me that they don't agree with each other. So you're making the Gospels contradict each other. So this is why people put the New Testament down, because people like you. Either you're going to make it make sense and make them harmonize, or you're going to make them fight against each other. It's not my battle to prove anything. I don't have to prove anything. I just read the text.
Okay. When I was trying to explain it, that's when you cut me off. That's what's going on here.
All right, family, we're about to wrap it up. But before we wrap it up, I mean, since I got the two debaters here on the line right now, and we have the pre-debate going on tomorrow and the actual debate on Friday, we'll just give the brothers, 2 or 3 minutes to, promote the pre-debate tomorrow, say a few words to each other, and pretty much we're going to pretty much wrap it up. Let's go to my man, where you at right there? Where you at? Okay. Let's go to Amayan first. You got 2-3 minutes, a little free promotion for tomorrow. What you want to say? Got it.
Hello? Talking to me, Sal?
Yeah, talking to you. Yeah, just for tomorrow, man. The pre-debate is tomorrow. Anything you want to say, for tomorrow, you can say that now. Give a few, 2-3 minutes. Got it. Free promotion. Got you on the line.
Okay. Tomorrow in our pre-debate, you're gonna hear how crazy Chris Harris sounds. That Chris Harris is gonna be making no sense and stuff that he's saying. You know what I'm saying? He don't make sense of what he's saying. He think he do, but he does not make any sense. And when you catch him in a corner, he doesn't want to admit that he's wrong about certain things. So tune in tomorrow to our pre-debate so you can hear him say some crazy stuff. And then on Friday, I'm gonna chop his head off for you. Okay, finish him off completely because he can't beat me. Facts. You know what I'm saying? So tune in tomorrow and hear me. You know what I'm saying? Bamboozle Chris Harris like I always do, and then Friday, finish him off, Mortal Kombat style, decapitate him just like that, because the believers in Christ can't know to knock only brother beat us. None of you. Okay? Get that. Pre-debate tomorrow, tune in, Friday, head severed, okay? That's it.
We gotta let Chris do some free promotion for tomorrow and for Friday. We appreciate the family out there that's tuning in now. All right, Chris, some few words for promotion. Go ahead.
Okay, so brothers and sisters, the debate we decided is Jesus' blood and atone for Israel. I guarantee you he's going to run from every question. I guarantee you he's going to go to Numbers 25 to try and show you somebody being killed as a sacrifice. I'm going to show you the house of confusion that this Catholic minion, tomato can, don't understand Torah. He does not understand Tanakh. He believes a man died for his sins, and the same man going to come back gang banging out the sky, killing all the white people. That's what he believes. We have spoken that. You have heard Bleedo go into his gospel and prove him wrong. And he still rejected his own book. And y'all gonna listen to this guy? As stated, the Most High's name will be magnified in this debate, and his law will be made honorable. He stated, and I quote, when someone commits idolatry within the camp of Israel, he said in the law that a man got to die, a priest got to sacrifice a man, or an animal got to die. And anybody know that ain't nowhere in the book. So y'all tune in to his folly, because I guarantee you this Catholic minion / Christian going to surface read all these scriptures thinking he know what I don't know what I'm talking about. So tune in, watch the fireworks. Unfortunately, at the pre-debate, I'll be at work, so I can only be in for 30 minutes. But Friday, I will lock him and that little bit of jerry curl he got on top of his head off. And I will represent the Most High. May Yah be praised.
All right, family. So tune in tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, for the pre-debate. And again, this Friday right here at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you call in with your questions, your comments. Like I always say, family, always take down your notes. Take down your notes. And I believe my team's going to do like a little poll. I got to talk to, the team and see if they can do like a poll or something like that. But let's get some final words. Let's go to Bleedo. Bleedo, final words.
Yeah, okay, I'm back. Yeah, basically, this was a good show, man, all the way around. I enjoyed the conversation. Me and Chris gonna continue to build. Hopefully, I didn't really get a chance to go into a whole lot of metaphysics or whatever that is, but that's fine. I just really wanted to just put some information out there that people can see that, even in the New Testament, in the sense that we are supposed to be held accountable for our own sins, in a sense, and we're supposed to be held accountable for ourselves. And the Creator dwells in us and is supposed to lead and guide us the same way that the Creator did Jesus in that story that's written. I'm Jan. Salute to you, man. Good luck on your debate tomorrow, man. Hopefully, on Friday. Hopefully, y'all get it in. And just want to say thanks to Sal for allowing me, back on the show, and look forward to being back on here again. And I say peace to everybody.
All right, and okay, Chris, final words.
Enjoyed the build tonight with Brother Bleedo. We just wanted to get on here and have a little freestyle debate, kick it about some things we agree on, what I don't agree on. No, I do not believe in the Greek Testament. No, I don't need the Greek Testament. And just for a reminder, brothers and sisters, he's got to show you where the atonement came in at, because if there was an atonement, the curses would have been lifted from Israel, and we know that never happened. So with that being said, I want to let everybody know, may Yah be magnified and his law be made honorable. Walk in peace. Shalom.